right.
Texter just tanked a shotgun to the face. Chinchu's got a 50-50. If he checks left, no! Oh, Munchkin! A chance for more as well. The shots didn't land, but well, this has been a bit of an unusual start to things. EDG have the advantage in rounds, but not the match was to Gen G. Now it's just right about even with a rifle recovered by Lakia and movement towards this A site, but TP in. Haodong's in position to stop them from easily walking into this A site, and he's checking heaven. Lakia needs to win this fight on the way out. In fact, timing will be a key factor for him. The flash goes towards the elbow. It seems like he's safe to cross with EDG too far away to do anything at this point with Smoggy still in spawn.
Again, the time getting a little bit low, but the aftershock won't be placed before anything else can be done. Lakia still having his Tiger. Oh, he is going to be able to spot the man in the corner. Haodong, though, not stunned up. It doesn't matter. Even still comes back into the trade. Smoggy with his full belt of utility still online. Hasn't had to use any of it just yet. But instead, he's going to potentially just go walking through this smoke. And Lakia, the man who was silent on the last map, speaks loud in this round as Gen G get their second.
2 big kills from him, denying the vent control and then closing out the round as well. This is what we wanted to see. Lakia waking up, finding his form, finding his footing, as it's 3-2, a 1-round gap between them. And again, looking at how some of these rounds have gone down, you know, in the previous map, it was feeling pretty much favored to EDG from the get-go. After the first 5 rounds, essentially, they didn't really take their hands off the reins. Here, though, Gen G are already punching back.
Yeah, they managed to do it with a low buy as well. The pistols finding a lot of value, and that success could make all the difference. They've already realized that nobody's close, and while having that judge, you really don't want to pressure into this man just yet. Interestingly, you've got the lurk out from Meteor on the other side of the map, but it does seem like EDG are fairly happy to just sit passive. And that's the thing, as I said, I don't feel like Gen G have done a fantastic job of baiting out any of the utility from the side of EDG in these early rounds. This time, though, Paranoia not online, but they still have all of Viper's util, and in this case, the wrong read.
Yeah, even though the bird just went up from nobody and caught those players outside B, again, the problem's always going to be it could just be one player, one person lurking, catching that flash and running straight to A. But
giving him a smoke.
As we can see, this isn't how it's playing out. The judge, it could do a hell of a lot of damage up close like this, but the smoke is suspicious. They know there's something afoot, and Texture's dealt with it perfectly, well handled by Gen G, and that's the real threat in this round dealt with already.
Yeah, when you put out a smoke like that, there's going to be a part of you that's thinking, okay, there has to be someone within it. And I like the fact that Gen G play it safe. Boombot and Seekers gives everything away. They know that the site is clear, and that's the thing. They haven't had a lot of rounds, even throughout the series thus far, that have been particularly clean. Now, though, what can be found from EDG on the way back in? Probably not a lot. Smoggy at least will be able to find one, drop an extra weapon, but other than that, expectations desperately low, and Karen's taking a little bit of damage, but he'll fade out of there before his life is lost. For Smoggy now, the value might actually come from going down to the spike.
Yeah, that's definitely the game plan for him. As another round swings to Gen G. And again, I like their usage of their ultimate. Lakia puts out the Seekers just to confirm there's a player close in that smoke. They have a Boombot following it up. It allowed them the perfect timing to swing in on the back of that utility and catch a player repositioning around the corner. At 3-3, it really is anyone's game. And that was my worry, was that we'd come into this map after the first being pretty dominant in favor of EDG, and we would see this be a very quick evening. I think at the very least we're owed a close map between these two teams, if not a third one.
Well, normally EDG are stellar when it comes to this defensive side, so... And as said, Gen G had some rough times when it came to their attack, so this is already a pretty decent start from them. If they can keep things even throughout, I think they'll be quite content. Already a fantastic start. Meteor has been great throughout the series on an individual level. That's a little audacious, though. We'll trade out with the showstopper. We'll keep it in their favor, and Kanka just goes through. The movement's sublime. And now just looks to try and get a little bit more. The Rolling Thunder's going to leave Texture completely stunned up, but he hasn't been spotted. One bullet is all he needs, but Kankan's there again. A third kill for him already, and he needs the ace. He's going to look to try and get it half, but he's completely blinded. Already baiting them out. A second flash, and there is no hope. I've seen that one before, Mitch, but it won't happen this time.
Yeah, thankfully not. Second flash, immediate peek, and you can see he just had nothing to do unless the spray landed on heads right away. It was done and dusted.
Somewhere someone from Giant X is going, no, don't peek him.
Well, considering a 4-3 scoreline and 3 ultis online, Viper's Pit to play with as well, this was a big round for Gen G because they've left their opponents with no money, no credits to buy back up. It's going to be a scrappy buy for the defensive side. And so far, we've seen Gen G be very clinical with dealing with these lower buys. They've not been giving away too much. They have a healthy economy because of it. They'll look to farm up an even better one right here and now.
Okay then. There's the Meteor we know and love. A lot of the time we don't see him get to play that star duelist anymore, but with this 1-2 punch of him and Texture on this map, they are really starting to come alive. We mentioned him and Texture as clinical pieces to this puzzle. Carol though already just mowing down 2 of the remainder. Howdong not particularly close to the angle and the action. Again, it just comes down to can he make this one costly, but the fact is the economy now of Gen G is off the charts. You win an eco and then have a couple of cleaner rounds. He's still actually killed the player behind through the other. It's a couple of guns lost, but ultimately for the side of Gen G, it doesn't matter. They are stacked for cash.
Yeah, and even one of the players we saw there before we cut to the replay was Meteor. He had a judge, but he managed to upgrade to a rifle. And, well, with the economy that they have in play, there's not really going to be too much bother. Well, it's unsurprising. In the previous map, we had Gen G call both of their timeouts last towards the end of the game before things ticked over into EDG's favor. This time, it's EDG getting off to an early start. They want to have a chat with the coaching staff and come to a conclusion on how they want to run this next round, because again, they're going to be buying down to their last credits, and that's going to put Gen G in a very advantageous position if they find this one. Facing into an eco, it could be 7 rounds already.
Yeah, I think as well, when you look at what's online for your opponent, you don't want to allow them to get into an afterplant. Having that Viper's Pit online for Munchkin is going to make things desperately more difficult if you're unable to deny. And also you have a showstopper onto Kankan, so you can go for some of those set plays, put him into position. He has been thriving still, at least on an individual level, but over the last few rounds, I feel like Gen G have just been a little bit quicker in the pace. They've not allowed them to hold util to the late rounds. They've been taking control. And also they're just looking a bit more confident in what they're doing. Like, you can see Meteor committing to these early fights and everybody following him in. That seems to be what's working, at least for now. Now let's see where the response lies. By the looks of it, they might be about to go for another fairly aggressive piece as they've got no luck. That's something we've consistently seen for Gen G, as they now look to take some early control towards this B side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, they have no control anywhere else, so there's not much of a backup plan here. The showstopper, well, that's plan A, and it hasn't worked out. Those players slowed down, sure, split, but they've already got players towards the site. Meteor's in position, teammates coming in to rally alongside him, and the retake attempt from EDG, it's not going too well. Kills swinging in favor of Gen G, trade after trade, and a 3 versus 2. Lakia, 4 health, but there's not exactly too much they can do to take him down. If he's hit him in those corners, maybe Chichu needs a miracle snake bite to land. And it could come in off the back of the plant. It's Lakia attempting the plant, but they don't know just how low he is. Viper's Pit activated, and that's going to even the playing field a little bit.
It was so close to taking him down, but now Meteor in the right place at the right time. He's going to clear out both of them. The direct approach just working out perfectly for Gen G. Unable to slow them down, unable to stop them. I want to say as well, I think there was some gorgeous movement in there from Texture. I don't think there was a lot else in that round, but the showstopper's fired towards him, and he just backs out of there immediately off a blast pack, just flies backwards into the corner, and it hits nobody. That's the perfect thing for the side of Gen G. They've dodged the showstopper, and that's the one thing that was really dangerous. Kankan in the right place at the right time. He was there, he got nothing.
That's it. But hey, that ain't gonna happen too many more times from what we've seen. Thank their lucky stars as we go 6-3. Gen G doubling up on the scoreline now. Look at, oh no, never mind. Look at this aggression coming out of Texture. He's running it down towards Vence, and he has certainly chased Kankan to the other side of the map. an impressive pace change from Gen G, and now they've got full mid control.
Scout destroyed.
Again, it seems like EDG have their players position well, and these are some of the rounds that worked out better for them. These slower paced rounds from Gen G, it's been the quick moves in towards the site that have worked better for them. In terms of ultimates, not a whole lot online either. A Viper's Pit for Chichu, but where to place it will be the real problem. And starting to throw out some utility in towards this B site, but I can only assume with where their players currently sit, this is a ruse, and it's worked. It's pulled at least Kankan for the moment, but that stun is sublime. Now they'll have an extra player in to support. Nobody already watching, but he doesn't get either. Luckily, Kankan is there.
Oh, and so is Chichu. Good shot to start and a follow-up. That's sublime. 21 HP left. He's in danger, but he's got 2 players close to back him up. And with 20 seconds left, it's time to get that spike planted for Gen G. The last player standing will take Chichu down, but still 3 more, 15 seconds left. And surely this plant cannot be acquired. He'll tap it first to try and fade into a fight that doesn't go his way. 4 rounds for EDG. It's a resurgence. It's another foot in the door. But Gen G have been looking good, and because of the rounds they've won, there's not going to be any thought of an eco for the rest of this half.
Oh no, not even remotely close. Again though, it does seem like when they split up and play these slower rounds, a lot of the time it ends up biting them in the back. I think just sticking together and just playing as almost a death ball has been one of the major sort of benefits for them. I also think as well, props need to be given to Smoggy. The stun there was just completely game-changing. Viper's Pit, though, immediately put down after what has been some tough executes for them to deal with on that side of the map. They're just going to section it off completely.
Well, the pings here from the attacking side seem to be going in towards the spawn. I don't know what play we're about to have come through, but I'm excited to see it. It looks like they want to end towards the A site, and okay, pings go back towards Heaven. Instead, that's going to be the play. Split Heaven, put pressure on this A site, and have your lurker, this time it's Meteor, to pick them up as they start to rotate back. It's a nice idea. See how the execution goes with Seekers confirming the players are here. You can easily see those rotates come through. That's the idea that Meteor is playing off of. Look at this shift back towards Heaven. They're ready to reunite, but Meteor can't go down. He has to maintain this control. Thought about walking into spawn. Instead, it's the sight on the back of a flash. A dash now up close to the pit, and as Chichu thinks about going outside of it, that could be the end of his life if he did. It's all down to timing. He's won the first, but that's all he gets.
Yeah, really nice trades. Lakia was well aware, and in fact, Meteor almost gets to kill himself. Kankan, though, you can't give this man that much space. Quickly takes 2. This round is starting to fall apart. They know exactly where Texture is, but can't quite connect onto him. The Tyke's gonna go through, but he runs through on the other side into the 1v1, but it's still Kankan. They just can't deal with this man. Again and again, he pulls off rounds that he shouldn't. And EDG, well, somewhat luckily, do get ever closer.
A sensational play by Texture. That almost won them the round, just blitzing through the smoke.
It should have won them the round.
It should have. It absolutely should have, if not for this man. That's gorgeous, and the return was straight through the smoke.
One enemy remains.
That's just disgusting.
Okay, running through the smoke, that's even worse. But it works, and if it works, it works. 6-5, EDG. In prime position to equalize coming out of this. That's what we like to see, getting heated down there. Showstopper online for both sides. This should be an interesting one. It's right off rip, both are used, and Texture! A double kill, but there's still one man standing, not anymore. This is Texture's round.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do better.
Spike planted.
And now, well, for the remaining players, what do you even do? You've just lost the entirety of your B defense. Everybody was here waiting for this play to come through. Counter utility used to deny anything. That was the thing, the aftershock cleared a player out of position. It didn't matter. The paranoia wasn't even utilized in that initial take. To find any space here is going to almost rely on a mistake. And what was it? You know what? Somehow Smoggy has made this interesting. It won't matter, though. He started this round, and he will end it. Texture one-ups his opposing Rays.
Switching sides.
Oh, we had both showstoppers, Tom, but only one got to be fired. That is absolutely gorgeous for Texture, disrupting the plan of his opponents and getting ahead by just an inch, just a second. That's all he needed. And a gorgeous ace to add to Gen G's momentum. Now 7 rounds at the half. They're leading and moving over to their defense. I'm excited to see what they've got in store for us, but what we've got in store for you is a halftime analyst desk. Take it away, guys.
7-5 in favor of Gen G this time, and you can kind of see the team waking up. You can see their energy rising as well, which is great because it is time for our Verizon high-speed moment of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think map number 1, Gen G, bitch. They weren't really awake. They were getting ran over. But coming into this map, they look reinvigorated. Their players in particular, like Meteor in this clip, were looking so much better. And also just their approach to the game. They're again playing these slow, very proper mid-rounds on the attacking side. But I think they did a good job at finding the opportunities against EDG. And these double dive XX were tearing EDG up.
Exactly, and we saw it especially on the last round with that ace. I think that, of course, for Gen G is not going to be easy now moving onto the defense. We're seeing a lot of aggression. We're seeing a lot of mistakes and a lot of punishment coming from both of the teams. But I think that it's so based on individuality and some BS rounds, like the one where Can just gets the kill across the smoke after a brilliant play and push. And I think that it's kind of concerning, right, that this is what is going to come to.
Absolutely. I think in the second half, EDG have a great chance at coming up back into this.
Yes.
They're playing this double initiator that is built around enabling Kung Kung on the dive. We saw earlier Zekken playing on this map, absolutely eating up on Rays. This comp plays pretty similarly, where there's a lot of tools being put into one player succeeding, into getting space on those sites. And if Gen G are making some of those same mistakes of Icebox on their defense, of giving these early opportunities to EDG, it could go a similar direction.
EDG, they're one half away from making it again into those playoffs. They have to make us.
Forecasters, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much to our wonderful analyst desk for what could be one last time. As EDG on their attack side look to close out this series up against Gen G, it's their map pick. You know they're going to be comfortable on the attack. Remember, that means that Gen G chose to start on their attack side. Maybe it's the best of what they've got planned already behind them.
It went well. Oh, hello. I'm stuck on something.
I'm stuck on nobody.
Help me step. Wait, what? Either way, we are going to have.
We'll just breeze right past that one, I suppose.
The flash coming in. Nobody looking to take the space. Been a little bit quieter this time around.
Yeah, not as pacey, that's for sure. EDG still just toying with that map control. It looks like they'll be taking the fight eventually, and it's Con and Smoggy to find the openings. Heaven completely under their control, or so they think. There is a fill back in by Meteor, but, well, it doesn't look like EDG have decided on where they're going. The spike is still in spawn, checking for a flank. And they're just waiting for Gen G to make that move to re-clear the space. Player spotted up close, stun is good. And he's only bought himself a second as that smoke fades. Chichu lands this shot. Texture on 45, in a lot of trouble. Emerging from the smoke element of surprise! How has he gotten all 3? He was 45, now 15 HP, with nobody, all alone. The frenzy up close in heaven. He has thread the needle beautifully for that one. And with Texture being on 15 HP, to be honest, after what I just saw, it's anyone's game, but 14 seconds left. Nobody has to be so quick. And look at Texture, he's already here. This could decide it. If he can speed his way through heaven, he might get the angle just after the plant. It all depends on where nobody's looking. In the wrong way! Texture's got 4! The pistol goes to Gen G. This guy's insane!
I've had a lot. There's been a lot of plays the last couple of days on this map in particular that have left me speechless. I have no idea how he manages 3 kills here. Like the last 2 especially. Like that's better than anything you could ever dream to get from that position.
4 bullets, Tom. 4 bullets and he gets 3 kills on 45 HP.
Look at him go.
Give it to him. Oh, that's wonderful.
We are in for a treat. The 2 Rays players in this match at the moment have basically been competing for who can make the most audacious play of the day. Well, that was a round that should have been for EDG, but for that man. And already, him and Meteor are showing why we talk about this double duelist coming into this map. If they were going to win this, if they were going to compete, they had to be fantastic. And you know what? They're doing all right.
All right is an understatement. You know, what we've seen so far, individuals are coming online.
Forsaken set the bar.
Hey, listen, that's a bar that I think only he can jump over. But, well, with 9-5 on the board, Gen G may well have that third map locked and loaded for us. Breeze in the back of EDG's mind. But the forefront is the fact that it's only a 4-round gap. It's recoverable on the side of EDG.
It's definitely a long road back.
I think not helped by the fact that Texture got so many kills and is now 1 away from the showstopper.
And also the other kills all went to Meteor, which puts him a few away from a Blade Storm. So even if this goes badly, if he gets 1 or 2 kills and dies, that could be enough. They've actually got a great read as well. 3 players set up, Tiger through. Now there is a judge coming out from Card. The push through on the other side, but the trades have come in. Kept things in their favor. They don't expect Meteor to be here. Why would you? Another man pushing into mid, and Karen's there alongside him. Gen G could give themselves a massive boost if they could take this round away. And well, Smoggy, he has now got some serious weight to carry. 3 players, Spike in mid, and they have a decent idea of where he's coming from. And his opponents picked up a judge.
Yeah, picked up a judge and is sitting inside a smoke. So very best of luck to Smoggy here. Blind spray is probably his best chance.
He could stun all of them.
True, but he doesn't want to give it away. It's a contact play into a judge, and he got the contact he was looking for. 10-5, double digits for Gen G. Showstopper online, Blade Storm close, and 3 rounds needed to pull this across the line. Oh, also EDG on an eco. So add up all those things, and it seems like it's a pretty hefty advantage towards the defensive side right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this game has not gone anywhere near the way I was expecting it to go. And yet it has been incredibly enjoyable.
Well, you did say you expected a map 3, but
not in this order.
Yeah, the other way around.
The journey's the journey hasn't gone as planned, but we might reach the same destination.
Exactly. Somehow we've taken
just
a
like
detour.
You and your scooter.
The city's a little confusing sometimes. The GPS doesn't work. Nice shot by Meteor, doubled up on as well. The Outlaw putting in work in this round to control middle. And for EDG, you know, this is somewhere they have been dangerous before. We said it in the last map. When they've got pistols, they were able to upset a lot of opposition. But Gen G seemed to have a real handle on it, never letting these disadvantageous rounds slip out of their control.
This has genuinely become a race for who's going to be #1 on the scoreboard between Texture and Meteor. Kankan is still like in a close 3rd place, but those 2 have started to just completely run away with this one. But, you know, he's always terrifying. Guardian gets him a first. Now, he's actually a couple away. 1 more kill, even if he goes down. He's so quick with it. A single bullet is all he needs. A plant is actually going to give him a showstopper, but he has to try and pull back from it. And actually, the defenders are going to use their own one. Karkash just found another one. Finally, it takes a bazooka to take him out. He's given some essence of hope for Howdon, but Texture was blind. I don't even think he knew that he'd killed him.
I expected to come out of this round and compliment Howdon. A fantastic paranoia and even better decision-making. He made the realization there's a good chance they're stacked up, one above the other, firing squad to take the trade. Blinds the guy down below, takes the fight against the top player.
Wait, where's this?
Nice. That crosshair didn't stop moving either. It went past him. He just clicked it at the right time. Yeah, I'd love to see this guy. You ever seen those arcade games with the boxes that go left to right? You got to stack them all the way on top of each other?
He'll get banned.
He's out of the arcade 3 minutes in.
They'll just go, we've run out of items.
Hey, that used to happen to me down at the arcade. The coin machines, they'd come over, unplug it. Oh, it's out of order. Oh, sorry about that. Some of those machines, you can game the system, and that's exactly what this guy's been doing here. Texture's 21-12.
Yeah.
I mean, he like I said, he struggled last map. It didn't look too comfortable, but well, a completely different face coming out of him.
Yeah. it is a 3-horse race for top of the board, but he's definitely leading the way. That round from Kankan could have gone down as one of the best. Unfortunately for him, he did get bazookaed. So that's one way to put him down. It seems to be the only way at this stage. 11-5. He seems like maybe the only player that could cause any issues here for Gen G, because they now have 6 rounds to the good. Operator on the board for Meteor as well, who has also had a real step up. Bit of a slow start to this game, but that has quickly diminished. And now looking to just almost roam mid. They've got 3 players set up onto this B side. EDG spread. Just trying to play this one in a bit of a slower default. Problem is, they've even used ults of their own in the last round. Kankan, I didn't actually notice it. He used his showstopper too, so that's now gone.
Must be dropped extremely quickly.
I think it was he got showstoppered as he popped his.
Yeah, oh, he did actually blast back up in the air. Yeah, true. How wrong way. Wasn't looking into the oncoming traffic. That's 3 players swinging out on B main. He doesn't even get the info that there's 3 of them there. It's the worst part. Gets shot in the back. Then you got 2 more players coming through vent, but a reposition from Meteor. He is more than ready for this, but okay, it's the right rope. It's being taken. Textures dropped on B. Now you might start to think it's a B play, although they've just heard them on the ropes. Yeah, now you're sticking around. Meteor's here. He's ready to fight, although they'll give up control up top. It's that, not only the scope, but the Blade Storm backing it up that's been activated in Heaven. And EDG, I mean, look, they're playing blind no matter where they go, but as we can see, it might be the wrong decision. Meteor's already considering the rotate.
30 seconds left.
I think we're looking at Kankan and what can he find here. He's been stellar, and that's already the star they were looking for, leading the way into the side. He doesn't know there's another man behind him. Will be taken out, but that entry does enough. Puts things into a 2v2. Meteor Blade Storm out, maybe trying to deny any sort of plant, but hasn't been able to. And the rotation coming around from Munchkin, you'd think he maybe wait a moment, but he just does it all himself! Almost disrespectful to his opponents. It's risky, but it works for Meteor.
It absolutely does. He found that space perfectly. And now that's a 12th round with this defuse coming through. It's going to be given to Munchkin.
I thought for a second, I was like, bro, you've just used your ult. You're like, I can get it again.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this stage, I don't know that either of those ultis are going to be online by the end of the game. Gen G have been snowballing. And we said it was a dominant scoreline on the previous map for EDG. That was 13-8. Well, here on their map pick, it could be 13-5. And there's a lot of weaknesses coming into this round for EDG.
Well, I think you can just clearly see a confidence difference from the last
100%.
map. Like the fact that Meteor, that is a 2v2. You wouldn't be surprised for thinking it was a 1v2 because Munchkin was still making the wraparound all the way through spawn. He's like, don't worry, bro, I've won the round. Let's go next. Oh, you on the defuse? Oh, hello. That's a bit problematic for Munchkin, but he is going to be able to get out there with not too much of a scrape. And Meteor, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He has Lakia in pocket to help him out here. Smokes could be gone within a second because this man is just not missing. He's now 1 away from Texture, by the way. Both players have been unstoppable.
Yeah, it seems like a formality with the way rounds have been going. The fact that it's a 5v3 and the amount of hero plays that would be needed from EDG to fight their way back into a 7-round in a row. A 7-round deficit. And yeah, it has to be consecutive. I like the idea, sending the really slow play through middle to try to find a gap. They've not seen anyone in vents move towards Heaven. Munchkin's in position. He's got one, and not the follow-up. But Kankan has another challenge. It's Meteor's up that's come through with a dash still online and a player sitting down below. That's Lakia, who seems to be destined to close this round out. There it is. Not just the round, but the map with it. A 13-5 statement from Gen G. They were down and out on map 1, but now we're going all the way to Breeze.
Oh, well, Lakia's definitely having a great time there, right at the end, but that's the thing. You look at this scoreboard. Kankan, 22 kills. Texture, 22 kills. Meteor, 22 kills. They all had fantastic performances. The difference is it was much better teamwork from Gen G. Either way, we're going off to a break because this needs a third map to conclude.
Well, Gen G take it to a map number 3 as they tie up the score. It is now 1-1 in this series, and we saw a much better showing from Gen G over here. Yes, there were some still small mistakes that were happening, but this is, of course, a Gen G that we are far more ready to see.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The difference between map 1 and map 2 in this series is unbelievable. And the difference in performance as well is insane. You play the double duelist comp, you need your duelist to go crazy, and my god, did Gen G's duelist go crazy this map.
Exactly. Thank you to Space who gave us some of the crazy stats. Actually, both duelists plus the 50% success in that first blood. 67% of the 4v5s won by Gen G. 70% of their post-plant and 100% of their retakes. Whatever says on the scoreline doesn't really matter. We know that it was about individualities, and the Gen G was always supposed to win this match.
Yeah, and I think that's so important for Gen G as well, because they're really like a vibes-based team. When you watch them winning their match the other day against Live, you laugh, but I think that is a real thing.
I've checked.
When they're playing well, you see them out there laughing, giggling with each other.
Your head, maybe. I'm trying to understand you better. I'm getting to understand you better every time.
Okay, well, you're ruining my vibes, but Gen G's are good.
No, it is really good, and you can see them, right? You can see Texture suddenly, you know, jumping up and waving his hands like he usually does. You can see like how Lakia is as well, smiling, you know, and really carrying the rest of the team with that energy.
And I mean, for Gen G, I feel like they were losing a lot of rounds that they kind of had no or excuse me, for EDG, that they had no business losing in this one, right? Like Gen G pulling off some crazy miracles with individual plays, but also like this bonus round, for example, was a huge moment for Gen G.
Yeah, exactly. And how much of that is put into those controllers, into both Karen and Haodong, and all the smokes that we were seeing onto mid, all the spacing that the teams were taking against each other, and probably we were mentioning, right, those mistakes coming in from EDG, definitely coming into the third map. We need to be keeping an eye on the duelist head-to-head. I was saying, enabling Kankan to have a good game is a very dangerous game to play, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and I feel like now with EDG, actually, they need that second win. They need that second win to come out if they want to close out map number 3, because I feel like on Breeze, this is a potential aim duel once again, a duelist matchup that we're going to see here between Kankan and Texture.
Breeze is like the aim check map in the pool, which I think, honestly, I have no way which way it's going to go, judging on by how different the first 2 maps were.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're going to see a lot as well from Karen, who has to be pushed because he's up against Haodong, right? And that's the IGL who is carrying EDG through this run that we're seeing here. So it's a big test. I mean, like, you're up against an IGL, and you have a rookie who is just months into his professional career.
Yeah, of course. And coming on to the last map, we know that both of these teams, on the previous matches that they played, they had to win here in the last minute with the last train, just pushing it to the real limit. But for both of them, making it to playoffs means a lot. When we're talking about how the world has changed in the terms of Valorant, how the meta is swifting, Gen G coming now into this stage, proving that they can make it to playoffs through 2 wins, I think that they will be such a staple for the team.
Yeah, well, right now it is time for our HyperX Reflex moment of the day, and this one goes to Texture.
Least surprising sponsor segment pick in the history of the world. Texture was insane. We can't talk enough about how good this guy was. His raise has always been impressive, and I mean, this one is just the raw mechanics.
Yeah, completely. And now that we were talking about that aim duel, the possibility of going just in that head-to-head against Kankan, in this map on Split, he had the support of a second duelist and the rest of the team just playing for them. Definitely the Vice were on their side for this one, but they need to keep it up for Breeze if they want to close it their way.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, now we have both of these teams on their highest energy, right? You can see the exchange between both of the teams as well. They're up on their feet, they're out of their seats too, and they are ready to take it to Breeze right now, Mimi.
You think about the history of this matchup between China and Pacific. It's been so back and forth. This time it's the new guard for Gen G. They have to prove why they beat PaperX, why they beat DRX, why they're here. They have a chance to book a spot in the playoffs, but so do Edward Gaming. We're into the agent select. Gen G played the Yoru comp on this map, and EDG played the old bog standard with Kankan on that jet.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the Yoru. I want to see more impact. I feel like the other day it felt super flat. The impact was not there, especially now starting on the attack, but most so on that second half. Is he going to put that pressure onto the map? Same goes for Karen. I think that he had a great game, but it was
on the attack side. They were letting flanks come through. They really need to have buttoned down how to play, because it's a big risk going to Breeze without Cypher.
Well, the winner moves to playoffs, and the loser will have to fight for survival on Monday one last time. Here's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Mika, and our wonderful analyst desk, Tom, as we dive into this final map, the third of the series, the last of the day. I am very impressed with what we just saw from Gen G. Do you want to put out a prediction for this one?
No.
All right.
No, I don't. Because so far, I said that I thought EDG would win the second map.
Yep.
And I thought the Gen G would win the first map. So, yeah, no. You know what? I don't fancy giving a prediction. I'm just going to let it let it go at this stage.
Fair. You know what I'll say, though? I predict Gen G, if it's going to be the same as last map, where Lakia lost one opening duel, won none. Other than that, it was exclusively Meteor and Texture that took opening duel. It's rare you see that. The other two players absent in early fights. It was just these guys. And with the success they've been finding, hey, I'm not going to ask you to change that.
So the record that they have on this map for Gen G kind of stinks. It's not been fantastic. They've lost it 3 times in a row to RRQ, Team Secret, and Loud. But according to Jen, who does a lot of the Korean translations and interviews, she said that they feel really confident on this map and in this composition in particular. So, yeah, I've leaked what she said. She can come find me if she wants. Either way,
you're not winning that fight, Tom.
I know.
I'll let you know. Just like
but I wanted
Con
to say it that bad that I'm happy to be beaten up.
But just like Con there, not winning that fight as he gets dropped on that defensive side. An aggressive push that's now left Haodong in a little bit of an isolated position. If he didn't have 2 players right behind him, it's a pretty heavy stack up on B. And after finding that opening kill in this direction, especially if they took down Haodong, they might consider just full blitzing the B site. That seems to be the plan, Tom, but there could be danger here. Still a trap on site. It gets destroyed, and the cam's gone. A lot of control. Smoggy though with okay, never mind.
No, never mind whatsoever. That has just been a slaughter. Blink and you miss it. Every single member of the EDG side is gone, and well, that's exactly how you want to see it start if you are on that Gen G side of things. Clean, clinical. And that's the thing. Okay, it hasn't worked for them so far, this composition, but it's one I like. That you have 2 agents that can take a lot of map control. I think obviously the one sort of detriment to it is having that single initiator and not having the Cypher. That's the main worry. You can be flanked very easily. So it's something that they're going to have to definitely watch out for, but it allows for an awful lot of cool set plays.
Well, early peak. Con wants to get involved. Marshall out. Headshots being looked for, but no bullets landing. And the aggression from nobody has been spotted. They're anticipating it. There's not really much he can do in terms of continuing down that avenue. Gen G have been super patient in a lot of these rounds that we've seen before. Anti-ecos, anti-bonus rounds. They're always sitting back, always using their utility to clear up and then catching them on the fall back. I've really enjoyed the discipline that they've shown, especially on the last map, and it seems like it's no different here.
Yeah, I think they've definitely warmed up into this game, and you almost have to hope for EDG's sake they haven't cooled off, because we've seen a lot of different heroes throughout, especially in their Paper X game. We talk about great performances out of Haodong. I think nobody had a fantastic map of Split. But in the last map, I was basically like, how many kills can Con get? And if it's not at least 4, they're probably losing the round, which is not the sign you want to see. It reminds of almost EDG of old. He's the hero, and the rest of the team are just looking to try and put him into position. For this round,
30 seconds left.
Expectations incredibly low. Sure, he has a Marshall, which, given the opportunity, could do damage, but now in an afterplant, Lakia on a potential late lurk. Now, there is a bit of a gap being left, but I think Lakia has now filled that.
Enemy remaining.
And it will now just be Con remaining. I think they've already, well, they should have spotted the sniper. He shot a couple of bullets at them, so I don't know if anybody's going to want to feed him.
The only person I can see peeking that is Texture. The scope of his own on the Outlaw, and an advantageous fight regardless of where he hits. 45 HP. Con's on his way forward. Understandable. You know, he's not going to look to carry a Marshall through to the next, but the Outlaw's holding the angle, and Texture will find that one easily. 2-0 for Gen G. Not much in the way of damage done. I think it was just the pistol that was lost on mid. So, altogether, a very positive start to this map for Gen G.
Yeah, and that's the only kill that anybody has been actually able to get on the EDG side. So, a very quiet start for them in a map that doesn't decide their fate, but it's still a scary fate to have. Like, bear in mind, okay, yeah, sure, they've managed to beat out Paperex once. There's a chance they'll face them again. You've got the likes of Loud, Heretics, like all of these teams that can come back, even maybe a little bit of chance for revenge for FPX as well. So those decider games are not going to get any easier. Getting through first time definitely has its benefits. Already quite a bit of information. Both duelists being spotted outside of that A site. And considering that this is a bonus round, it has some real legs to it.
Especially in post plans here for Gen G. If they can muscle their way into a site. We're going to have the Outlaw leading the charge to take opening fights. Everybody on the side of EDG has got full shields. Of course, they saw the Outlaw last round, so you're not going to go running into that with light shields, giving him free kills, giving him basically an AWP upgrade. Texture's avoided the recon. He's in a good position. If anyone does go for that peek just to grab a little bit of info, they'll be in a lot of trouble, but the poison orb's up, and that should keep them back.
Yeah, they've got the information that they are still here. It's the split into middle that could definitely make things a little bit more interesting. Trying to almost bait with the shots. Ow, and they haven't actually seen it. Already first duel going their way, but nice work from Howdong. Smoggy as well, combining. Desperately low on HP, but they've managed to weather the storm, hold them back that little bit longer. Leaving just 2 players remaining. Make it 1. It is a clean sweep. Only nobody lost. Which sounds mental as a sentence.
Yeah.
And EDG, well, after a single kill in the first 2 rounds, they do quite well in the first buy.
Yep, a very well held push on the side. I mean, this is what I'm saying for Gen G actually breaking through. I think is the problem in this round, short of any over peaks out of the side of EDG, but they were patient. They took their time, and they certainly managed to reap the rewards for that. Now, coming into round number 4, I'm a little concerned. Meteor has an ulti online, and it's going to be pulled right away. Into another dimension he goes. He's got to fall back, so he's left his gate crash in towards A main, clearing out this like a recon.
Look how far back they've gone.
And yeah, I mean, they've made the right call rather than being blitzed on. Karen has such a good angle for the rotate through. There's no way Chichu could have expected that.
Yeah, it's the orchestrator, the conductor from the back, and the gun barrel spotted. The start from Texture is going to make it so much more problematic. Clearing out these players from the back line is going to be impossible. Bear in mind, they've got snakebite lineups. They could use a gravity well, but I don't think they're even going to need it. Picking this team apart, Smoggy at least has found one, but here comes those lineups. Anybody even gets close to that spike, and they've already spotted both players. Meteor's blinded himself, but it doesn't even matter. And now the Grabwell's also caught out Smoggy. A clean take from Gen G with slightly comical close to it, but
yeah,
they won't mind.
Yeah, I've never seen a man look so lost in my life. Meteor today, he didn't know where he was. That was the blind. He sees a player close. He has to run out of the smoke rather than get shot in the head. And ends up getting blinded himself. It was beautiful. It must be so confusing for Munchkin to step into that scenario, seeing them back to back. I think they were shooting for a James Bond poster. 3-1. Gen G in a prime position, Bladestorm online, not needed, with full rifles in play for that attacking side, and EDG having next to nothing to work with, just some pistols. I see the clock frozen on the top. I have to almost think this is a timeout from EDG. This early on, you don't want Gen G to be just storming away, and as we can see, yes, it is indeed an EDG timeout.
Yeah, I think it's almost just off the manner in which these rounds have been won. As I said, the first 2 rounds, they got a singular kill. Me too. And then also, the last round, again, just 1 kill. It was only the round that Smoggy actually managed to sort of hold the line on the site. Other than that, they get forced back, but the thing is, so far at least, that those retakes haven't looked good, and it's not your normal composition. That's sort of the benefit of not only having Meteor as that extra space taker, he can also cause havoc when you're trying to go for those retakes, but then you just have Karen and Munchkin. It's sort of like the yin and yang of the team. Like, you've got this crazy aggressive lunatic in Texture, and then you've got 2 guys going, I'm in spawn, I'm line up out. Okay, there's the snake bite gone. Okay, few seconds. It's the gravity well. And then that's basically the round over at that point. And in the meantime, it's like, you know, the guy that's sweating, you know, the sweaty guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just got Tez going, I'm in the fight. I killed one. And just the others chilling, just having a nice time. It's a disgusting sort of matchup to try and play against, and you almost have to play into that aggressive nature. You have to try and, well, as GB would say, punch him in the face. You have to get up close and personal, and Genji are just so good at denying that.
Well, this is it. We've seen so many rounds where they just pump the brakes right off rip, play it super slow. Early on here, I'm not sure what Meteor just did. Maybe popping a flash through A main, then TPing right over to B for a much quicker paced take to keep these players in position on A. Perhaps even grab the rotates over, but one man is still here. Standing his ground. Well, not anymore. Chichu's not standing at all. Good shot from nobody, and an angle lined up, but Meteor was ready for it.
Yeah, this round looking done already. Smoggy, he's going to get his ult online no matter what happens here. Well, unless he goes down to the spike, but I don't think that's going to happen. But the thing is, Genji are just giving them nothing. Every once in a while, someone goes for a slight jiggle peek, but they're just so passive in their spots. Ratty angles being held as well. Okay, sure, as said, you've got players like Meteor who just want to try and farm up as many orbs as possible, but again, that's another player round with 4 players alive. There's been barely anything to talk about in terms of EDG. The finances already off the charts for Genji. If they wanted to throw in an operator, they could comfortably on pretty much every single player. And this now has to be a response, because right now this is looking like a deflated EDG. This is not the team that we were singing the praises about in map 1. Even Kankan at the moment is missing.
Yeah, and that's coming out of a pause as well, right? Like, this has got to be somewhere that you've had your coaching staff come in, like your IGL's trying to pull it through, you call that pause, you touch base with your coaching staff, and you're right back into the fray. For Gen G, I mean, look, it's plain sailing. It's a breeze right now. EDG need to get back on that horse. And we've seen a couple different approaches that Gen G have shut down each time. This time, though, late aggression on the back of a flash. It did catch one of them, but the other sneaks into the corner, and that'll be aggressive A information for them with a rotate coming through, but the dash was heard. They know Kankan is coming around this angle. 2 players are lined up, ready to punish, and that was because of Texture being up here in the tube, being able to hear that. Perfect comms.
Again, no success for Kankan is aggression. When they played this map versus FPX to qualify, he was one of the only reasons they were even in the map. Like, he was so aggressive but successful with it. And right now, that just isn't the case. Again, they've sold a ruse, trying to keep a couple of players, but right now it's still split. A solo defender in the form of Haodong, and just look at his HP. He's already low. He's about to come under some serious pressure, and at least support has began to rotate in. Smoggy actually pushing into his own util to try and just get anything there, and it's so easy. They are making this look like a walk in the park, or maybe a walk along the beach. Finally, there's been a response, but just look at where the players are. The afterplant will again ensue. The rats will go back into their corners. There's no hope.
Yeah, this is a very strange position to find ourselves in, considering how we started this series out, Tom. I thought we were in for a quick day, and, well, it might be 3 maps, but with the way things are going, it could be in the runtime of 2. 13-8, 13-5, and Gen G now leading 5-1. The question, how many rifles can EDG carry through to the next round? Already one is spotted towards the elbow, and there's the crunch coming in from Meteor. He gets one, and there's more players on the way.
Where do you go?
They're willing to commit. They're boxing him in. Chichu knows his only chance is to come out swinging to try and take the fight before they pincer him. Unfortunately, nothing is found. Rifles are dropped, and EDG, it's not just their economy that's in the bin, it should also be their mental. This is a really tough position to play from.
Yeah, they're so prepared for everything that they want to do. Kankan's initial aggression, I think he's actually caught by his own teammate's flash initially, so unable to find anything on the peak. The push into middle, also, they're just waiting. They're ready, and the second he's dead, it does just look like, okay, now they can go for their execution. They get rid of the real danger. And the only round that they've won so far on the EDG side was purely based off Smoggy managing to get a multi-frag on the site. Again, the ult's being farmed up. Meteor one away, Munchkin one away. They've got a couple of marshals to play with in this round, though. maybe could try and do a little bit of damage, but that's all the optimism I have left.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of damage. Look at their economy on Gen.G.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything, like, short of them being able to completely break open this attacking side in the coming rounds. Good shot by Smoggy. That's texture down already. Some economy damage. But we need to see a lot of rifles dropped, and really, we're looking for a round win for EDG. Every nice position. Oh no!
Which has gone away! And instead, a little bit later, but it still works out for Karan. There was a chance that he gets picked off, but that luck was filthy. And again, look, they're just going to use the Cosmic Divide, get themselves the afterplant. And do I believe there's any hope in the afterplant? Maybe. They've at least eliminated one of the players, but I don't think they realize just yet where everything's going down.
Yeah, just look up in the sky, see that Cosmic Divide, that'll give it away. But they were looking to clear out any lurkers around, no one to be found. Rifles potentially retrievable. Something. But if you're on EDG right now, the real concern is Smoggy and Haodong being so low. A bullet, all that's needed to take down the final player, and it is delivered easily. That one didn't really seem under threat. Was Gen.G tighten their hold on this map and on this series with a 6-1 lead. The one saving grace, Tom, is that EDG have 4 ultimates coming into the next round, and they've called a timeout, and they'll be full bot. If ever they were going to put another round on the board, this is really where you want to see it.
Yeah, not bad ultimates for a retake as well, because that has been their major problem. Just look at the deaths. It's not something I say too often, but look at the deaths over on Gen.G. Munchkin has died once, Karan has died twice, and that's because they are playing for the late round every single time. Karan's lurks have been sublime, but they're so ready to just play in those afterplant situations. Now, at least with something like a Hunter's Fury, maybe an aggressive push from Kankan with the Blade Storm, they might be able to clear out some of those late flanks. I'm also looking, though, at the fact that he's got the Operator, because he has been getting into a lot of early fights and losing pretty much every single one of them. The gun that pretty much made him famous is in his hands once again, and if you're on that EDG side, we are going into round number 8. Both of your pauses are already gone. That is how dire the situation is right now for the Chinese powerhouse.
Squad that came out swinging on map 1, on Gen.G's map pick. They set the tone for the series, and that tone has changed dramatically since we left Icebox. They've cooled down on EDG, and Gen.G coming in hot on Breeze. An 8th round about to kick off. Gen.G could be on 7 when we leave this one. As I said, EDG have 4 ultis to play with. Bit of a concern, though, with the retakes constantly needing to be played on A, or for Meteor that we've seen used before to just clear this site out, get them on there, and get the plant in. And then if it's Munchkin planting, that's the Viper's Pit. If he takes the orb, that's the Viper's Pit, and a really tough way back through. We're going for a Hunter's Fury, blind as a bat. And unfortunately, it's not found anything. With the orb retrieved, here comes the Pit to cover the plant. Now you don't have that Hunter's Fury to clear your way back through. The null command, it's not in on time, and there's not really a lot of coordination for EDG right now. They're still covering out some of this map. It looks like they want to go forward. There's a flank on the way from Karan. There's really not a lot going for this defensive side, even though it's a 5v4. The odds are stacked against them.
Yeah, so much needs to happen, and I don't even know if they're going to get anything again! Khan got caught with no gun in hand, and Karan is just doing so much damage, devastation. Smoggy, at least, it's just exit kills, padding the stats because the round's already over. Gen.G are running a clinic over on EDG. The team that didn't fear Gen.G are just getting ruined by them.
How many times have we seen a knife be pulled out? And that's the second that somebody peeks the angle. It's like a calling card. They're beckoning them in. It's just so unbelievable. Like we mentioned the flank, but I didn't expect that level of impact.
Well, the funny thing as well is, at that point, the round was already over.
They were going for a save, right?
They weren't looking to actually fight back into it, but they're just not prepared for these players to be around. And that's the thing, they're running the comp with more information. Yeah. They're running the one with the double initiator, with the Cypher, and they're the ones that end up looking like fools in almost every single round. The fact is, I'll be honest, I've kind of forgot they even had a Cypher at this point. Like, I just don't think that Chichu's been able to find anything. And he's going to get one for free. Finally, Munchkin's died, by the way. I think that's only death number 2.
What? Really?
He's been...
I hadn't even copped that.
I think he was 7-1, unless he died last round as well, but even still, he's barely died. Where the Viper's Pit was online until right at the end, so yeah, I think that was literally his second death.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I mean,
and I think Karam will only be on like maybe 3.
The thing is, the trade that they get there, Munchkin falling, it is big. It is removing a lot of the utility that gets them out to sight. Problem is, it was Concon dropped on the other side. That's your entry. Howdong tries to fill the role, and he's shut down immediately. Lackey is caught in the corner, though. Trapped in there, and the big iron takes him down. Back up. Well, the first shot doesn't hit. But Meteors most certainly does. They don't know that there's a player sitting on the site. Smoggy has a chance, but I think he just broke the gate crash, so now the info will be there that there is still someone sitting around. There's going to be a bodyguard on the planter, so no chance to deny it. And the real hope, okay, well, that was actually a good chance. Some damage done. The eyes focused forward. Good flash and good punish. Even though Chichu catches one from behind, he's going to swing straight into this op. I like the cage. Great use of it. Great swing. Oh, but he doesn't hit the kill shot. 55 HP, but that's enough for Texture to still be able to duel. And with Meteor coming around the other side, I don't see a lot of ways this goes for Chichu. He needs to be quick, clean, and clinical. Good shot, good correction as well. Meteor forced back, and the defuse is underway. No utility for the Yoru. It's going to be a drive peek, and it's worked out again for Gen G. One of the closer rounds for EDG, but again they lose, and 8-1 we go. It doesn't seem like there's any safe haven for the defenders.
No, that was one of the best opportunities for them. A few pieces of individual brilliance, an aggressive push, some team play that worked out, but they met Meteor at the end, and they went extinct. 11-4 for him, but there hasn't been a weak link. That's been the major issue. Gen G have peaked at the perfect moment, as they have done versus most of their opponents throughout this game.
Well, time to lock and load. Go again. For EDG, they probably would have called a timeout coming into this round if they still had one, but they've burned them up. They're on their own now. All on their lonely, just like the round count. Viper's Pit online for the defenders. The way back through, that could help. You see a retake wall on B. One that lets them get close from middle and no! He's out. Okay, cool. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's been hunted. Oh my God, the damage is huge.
That's one of the best Hunter's Furies I've ever seen. They just tagged both. That's ridiculous from Luckier. After a first map to forget, he has been fantastic ever since. Back with a vengeance.
And look who it is they killed, Tom. That's your Viper's Pit, down and out of the round. No way back through for them now.
Spike planted.
Well, nobody's going to try. He's got some support, but again, there's a smoke to deny them a Meteor in an aggressive position. Just doesn't seem to be missing a beat. Stolen away by Karan in the end, but 9-1. Whether you predicted the first and the second map, I think you're a bit crazy if you did. But if you thought this is how map number 3 was going to go, props to you. And how is it living in Korea?
This is just so disgusting. Was there... Am I mistaken in saying that there was nothing to give away that player's position? That was a blind fire to Hunter's Fury, right? He's pulled back the bow.
They're both doing it.
3 pulls of the bow, and every single one hit their mark. Bullseye after bullseye. 9-1. Gen G are absolutely stealing this series away. They got dominated on their map pick, and then they showed up. They've only given 6 rounds on the last map in this one. Explain that one.
Either way. The drone's going to give a little bit of info. It really is a bleak reality for EDG right now. We saw on the player cams real frustration for Concon, because it is rare, no matter who you are, that you shut this man out completely. But that has been the story thus far. Even being played with by an opponent. You can see just trying to make this awkward, try and make this confusing, and there's Texture. Even still though, Concon has managed to take him down. A trade, which I'll be honest, so far has been unusual. a deep mid position from nobody, but looks away just as they make the cross. The entire team comes out, and then Khan peeks into the lot of them. He has had a cursed game so far. Finally, we see there's a Cypher.
He got a tag, Tom! He got a tag!
It's because they're finally going B. That doesn't happen very often. It doesn't matter, though. They're still losing every single fight ahead of them. Chichu probably gobsmacked that they've actually entered into the B site. I don't know where he's hoping to go here. They're so ready for it. He does at least manage to drop the player planting, but it's after they've already planted. And while just as every other round goes, it is 10-1. Ridiculous.
I don't even remember what round EDG won, to be honest. This has been the most...
It was the round where Smoggy got, I think it was 3 kills on the back of the site.
You're right. Yeah, it was the pyramid play.
I remember
Flash
it
up
because
top.
it's the only thing that's
It's the only thing that's happened. Like, you could study this. You could watch this back again and again. Icebox.
Oh, look at what they're buying. Look at what they're buying.
Stop it.
Look at what they're buying.
It's last round of the half.
Look at what they've
got backup weapons.
Look at what they're doing.
They've got backup weapons for days and three
This is the Khan waiting angle.
What?
Where does he peek? Does he peek A main? Does he peek into middle? That's where Khan is. They're waiting for it. This is so disgusting. They know it's coming as well.
Oh no, they know where Texture is. What a disaster. Blazestorm used as well. Upshot fires out. It was Munchkin letting loose on that shot, swapping the weapon over for a Phantom, and they're still keeping the 3. It's just juggled around. Now it's Lakia who's going to be your opper. I don't know how they're running this. You know, you take one shot, then you juggle it over, right? That's your chance gone. Now it's someone else's turn.
Already gone. They're already dropping them.
Oh, no. Poor form, but they do have to make a play eventually. 50 seconds left on the clock. It's time to push forward. Hey, 2 ops on attack. It's still pretty good. Still pretty unique.
Meteor taking space. There hasn't been a battle or a brawl in this round. EDG have played a little bit more passive. It doesn't make a damn difference. They're being battered. Khan again tries to be the hero, but this time and every time he has been shut down. Haodong, Chichu. Well, there's nothing they can do. A nice shot at least. Still know where they are. But knowing and doing anything about it is going to be another thing altogether. The plant not the safest, but that's cover. They didn't even need the plant in the end. It is 11-1 scoreline. The most dominant half we've seen so far in the tournament.
Yep.
And it will have to be an even more dominant one if they're going to turn this around.
Yeah, fair play if anybody can beat that moving forward in the event. I'm not expecting to see a much better half than this on any map. Absolutely gobsmacked by this attacking side of Gen G. 11 rounds, and EDG that came in the start of the day looking like favorites, playing like favorites. And Gen G have found themselves behind. Let's hear from Munchkin, because we sat down with them earlier on.
안녕하세요. 저는 젠지에서 IGL을 맡고 있는 먼치킨이라고 합니다. 제 IGL링 방식 자체가 팀원들이 잘하는 플레이 방식을 약간 돋아주면서 더 잘할 수 있게 하는 게 제 IGL 스타일링이기 때문에 저희 어느 선수든 나 이거 지금 해보고 싶다, 진짜 이거 할 수 있을 것 같다라고 항상 콜을 해주면 그런 방향성을 최대한 밀어주는 것 같아요. 크레이지 라쿤에서 속해 있던 저는 그때도 나이가 적은 편은 아니었지만 되게 성격이나 게임적으로 되게 어렸던 것 같고 지금의 젠지는 그래도 이제 청소년기가 조금 지난 그런 사람인 것 같아요.
Munchkin now just too late to the party, tries, and actually might do a little bit of chip damage to Tui's here if he doesn't get himself out of danger. Tui's taking a lot of damage from this. That's a little surprising as Munchkin now, ready for it, gets it. He gives them the tiniest of margins.
사실 멀리서 이제 유럽 경기를 보고 북미 경기를 볼 때는 되게 다 무서웠는데 지금 마드리드 와서 보면은 퍼시픽이 가장 무서운 것 같은데요. 지금 한국 시간은 되게 늦은 시간인데 경기 끝까지 봐주셔서 정말 감사드리고요. 저희가 남아있는 경기들도 좋은 성적으로 걷어갈 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Well, Munchkin's sitting 10-2 right now. I imagine he's going to be pretty happy with his performance and probably the performance of his team overall. 10-round lead, 2 needed to close it out. The pistol may well seal EDG's fate, and even the best teams in the world will refer to those pistols as a coin toss. That's not a coin toss I'd like to be participating in if I was EDG.
No, I think the word screwed comes to mind. If they pull this one off, we'll be raving about it for a long, long time. But the fact is, Gen.G, they started slow, they built in map 2, and now they are looking unstoppable. A chance for the first time in their history, not only making it to a Masters, but making it to a Masters playoffs. For a lot of these players, that was a dream that may never have come. And with a roster that many wouldn't have expected to be this damn good, they are just 2 rounds away from making that history and being, wow, maybe even one of the favorites to take the crown. Still, the players up against them are not ones that you can be foolish, that you can give chances to, and they have struggled on this defensive time before. EDG clearly not giving up just yet, but this man in pistol rounds is devastating as ever. The lurking Karon is all that remains. Watch your flank.
It's a trap here as well. Just gets caught by that. There's the info to play with. It will be a legendary comeback. Kankan using Fnatic's pistol. He'll have to channel some of that energy and then some.
Yeah, you need more than that.
Well, it's a mini victory, so to speak, for EDG. 11-2. They've doubled their rounds here with the pistol win. That's, yeah, that pretty much summarizes this game so far. It's been tough.
But that was the thing. We saw that comeback happen because of a fantastic tactical pause.
Do you reckon they'll have one, Tom?
No, not until overtime at least. They've got to do it on their own. The coaches, they mentioned it. I think it was Chichu in the interview we saw earlier. How much they think the coaches really impact them. How much they lead by example while they're silenced. You're going to have to rely, well, either on their opponents eventually taking one. I guess that will be the real possibility. Even still, though, Texture going for a little bit of an investment here. Other than that, not a whole lot to play with. And, of course, you don't really expect any players to be saving too much here for the side of EDG because you can't afford to play a bonus round in the next.
Part of me sees this as a Gen.G round, but how things have been going. Texture's dealt with, though. And now my odds are switching up a little bit. EDG have site control. Man advantage ×3. And, well, it looks like Gen.G will fall flat in this eco round. 1 kill for Lakia. And we're at the stage with 2 rounds needed for Gen.G. I don't really care how much damage they do.
Click that.
They can make this a bit more costly. And for Munchkin, he's picked up a Sheriff. He's close to the spike. There's a couple players getting close to ultis. It's 11-2, though. He can do what he likes. Probably just going down to the spike.
Yeah, to be honest, they've had so many plays that have been based off confidence. I wouldn't even mind too much if he tried to just do some damage. They have such a ridiculous lead, but clearly just wanting to make sure that they don't give any of those orbs over to, well, Kankan, Howdong, and instead we'll just go down to the spike. Now, I fully expect that any weaker weaponry here for EDG is just overrated. You can't be playing a bonus round here. You are too far behind. If you allow them to get to 12, you're playing for overtime, and we are at least seeing rifles purchased up. It's still not going to be the best of buys, though. That's the thing. I think an Outlaw's been purchased in the place of a Marshal. That's a slight upgrade at least, and it will still allow them to buy into the next round, but even with the slight weaknesses, EDG need to win this.
Well, EDG have 3 rounds, and Munchkin has 3 deaths. It's been a pretty strong game for Gen.G so far, and now the rifles come out. As you said, EDG have some upgrades, but there's no such thing as, oh, well, we lost the bonus, it's all good. You gotta win that bonus, and nobody's off to a flying start with Karon already down and out. Gen.G's numbers thin out, and the A site, well, you see, with the wall already up, I think they're gonna wait for another pulse. The wall goes down. Kankan might have an opportunity to spray away. Good spray through. It's dealing some damage. Texture's forced back, caught by nobody. This is a good look for the side of EDG, trading out one after another. We said they needed to win this bonus, and it looks like they've got it locked down, but Meteor has a free kill, and it's been left to a 1v2. Very winnable for Meteor. TP, I love this. I don't know if he's going to commit. I imagine it's a fake for info, and then he can sneak his way through to the site, but let's see.
Both players sat back. He does take the TP. It's being watched by Kankan. Both players around this angle. It would have to be a mistake at this stage, and even Kankan, one of the most confident players, decides it's not worth it. Smart stuff from EDG, not going to overextend, and this is the exact start they needed to start what will be one of the most ridiculous comebacks of all time. Still, I don't think until we get to 8 or 9 rounds I'm even going to start thinking about what could be on the cards. And you can see the confidence that's there. Like, that push from Karon is ludicrous. It just goes walking out. But you can kind of understand it at this point when you won that many rounds in a row.
You only needed to work once for Gen G. They can throw out a couple of those curveballs. Now, here's the interesting thing. 11-4. And a huge lead for Gen G. And they decide to call a timeout. Funny, because you mentioned, Tom, earlier about how Chichu was complimenting the coaching staff of EDG, saying how important it is for them to touch base with them. The Gen G have given them an opportunity to do so, but obviously they're just concerned about closing this game out.
When your coach is Solo, one of the legendary Korean FPS players, you don't care who's on the other side. But I'll be honest with you, he is someone who was there at the beginning of Valorant. He was there in titles before Valorant for many, many years. He has so much experience that I think they're going to value that a lot more than, oh, okay, now After gets to talk to his team as well. I also think there is just an aspect of momentum breaking. Because the fact is, I think of any team that we have in the scene, you watch Kankan's camera, when that guy gets pumped up, you're in trouble. So create the calm. Use your pauses for that. It might even just be a small talk of like, okay, let's calm down. We're not done. We're not through yet. And I don't mind it.
Well, yeah, when you've got a lead like that, you see your players playing loose. I can also understand just calling that timeout to say, yeah, everybody calm down. Let's play the game. Let's just close it out. We're not here to give EDG a way back in. And if you do, well, they will certainly take it. Yeah. Big lead for Gen G. Defensive side, couple of investments, but nothing huge. Mostly Sheriffs, a Marshal, and a Bookie to back them up. For Gen G, I mean, sometimes you'll see these rounds where you group up, try to play the numbers, but it's such a big map. It's not really a gamble they want to take. Instead, just playing defaults and hoping they can pop off individually. I think really they're just thinking about the next round.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued by a Bucky on Breeze. I'm not sure it's something that will necessarily be expected, but when you have that extra controller in the form of Karon, you can create little pockets for someone like Lakia to play. And as said, his resurgence in this series has been fantastic. And his resurgence in the scene in general. He had to go through being slightly trapped to a one-map player, being trapped in the tier 2. And now he's been shot in the face. I was optimistic. One of those plays you never really expected to work. Meteor, though, still making things interesting.
One enemy remaining.
But he will fall as well. Munchkin a little bit out of the action. Looking to keep the rounds to deaths ratio the same. Although he did technically die to the spike, which doesn't come up on the scoreboard.
Okay.
If we're being pedantic,
he's died a few more times. But for EDG, 13-5 on last map. Pushing up to 5 here. Full buy for Gen G next. Deja Vu starts to ring true, but the attacking side has had a good run of things in this round at least. Damage is very minimal. Nobody and Haodong both extremely low to the Sheriff. They're just going for the exit towards the spawn. Yeah, well, Munchkin might not die to the spike. It depends how quickly he pushes out here. Still being watched on the cross, but he finds a nice, safe corner to go down to it. So he'll still be able to buy in the next 11-5. EDG on their way, but still a long distance left to go. It's worth mentioning, Lakia, well, he's 13-9 right now, 3 assists. He was 3 kills, 18 deaths, 1 assist on map 1. I mean, it was an abysmal map for him on Icebox, but Split and Breeze, he's back in the game.
Well, it still seems like it was the closest map so far, which kind of says how things are going elsewhere, but there we go. 11-5. EDG starting to bridge the gap, and that's one hell of a way to kick off the buy round. I said there's always a worry if this man starts gaining confidence. Well, it doesn't get any better than that.
1 shot, 2 kills. And Gen.G left to rely on a very scattered hold. Look at the minimap. You can see those defenders are going to have big performances when the push comes down. And it looks like EDG want to shove into the A site. This is Texture's opportunity. The drone could clear him, or at least keep him behind this Viper wall as it's about to go up and the push to come through. Texture, no dash. He's being silenced, suppressed, but he still fires back. 23 HP though, and the players are quickly circling him, encircling him, I should say, and finally taking him down. Munchkin and Karen to do it all. Nice shot by Karen. There's an opportunity. If he can buy some time, the flank will catch another off guard, and now it's winnable again. Gen.G has suddenly found legs in the round, but a snake bite in hand leads to Munchkin's death. Karen has to clutch this alone. He's keeping his opponent behind the pyramid, but nobody jumps up top to take him down. A 6th for EDG. The gap down to 5. It's not quite manageable yet, but this attack side is really picking up some momentum.
Somehow, Kankan is only 3 kills away from being top fragger. I don't know how that's a thing.
They're throwing the AWP off the map. They did. They threw it right off the map. I guess because Kankan has the Blade Storm, he's going to use that for what could be a much quicker round.
Yeah, I guess attempting something a little bit more explosive. Blade Storm available on the other side as well. But yeah, I guess maybe the surprise factor of that operator now being gone. It's not like they don't have the finances for it.
Right here.
You can see the patience. Interesting, actually, considering how passive they're holding in this round at the moment. I feel like that operator could have had some value. They're going to remove the cam with a shock dart. Chichu now looks to reclaim that control, something that was given up earlier in the round, and it looks like they might be about to use Kankan as a bit of a sledgehammer. Information going to be found, though. Already clearing out A main, and I don't know if he's going to get far enough. Might be able to spot some of the players in mid. That would be huge. He has. He's seen that they're still passively waiting. Will TP back to the site, but it means that they're not going to pull any early rotations just yet. In fact, though, EDG are going to use that as a move towards B.
Cage up from Chichu as well. He's making his way around mid for the lurk. The rest of the players need to break through the B site. Viper utility to block them on the retake, but the fight is taken instead. Munchkin blinded up completely, but Kankan can't get it done with Karen on the side. 3 kills quickly found, and even the Blade Storm frag on the flanker. Easy peasy for Gen.G. They had a real handle on this round from the get-go, and 12-6. 1 more needed for Gen.G. 6 chances to pull it across the line, and I am amazed by what we've seen in these last 2 maps. This Gen.G. squad, I don't know if they need to play a 1-map scrim before their next series, but they are just I would, if this was online, I'd say it's 5 different players, Tom.
Well, that is the thing. You look at their last few series, it does kind of feel like that. They always seem to lose one, except for an overtime victory for a 2-0 versus DRX. But that's also just something to talk about. The teams they're going through, it's not like they've had an easy route. You can't sit there and go, oh, you know, they beat one of the weaker teams in their region. They beat DRX, they beat PaperX, they've beaten Loud. These are teams that have all been within top 4 at international events. Now they look to beat the China #1, a team again who's been in the playoffs before, and this time it's looking like it might be theirs. Just 2 kills away from creating history for their organization within Valorant. And it's looked like it is done and dusted. Gen.G will be the 2nd team to make it through to the playoffs. For Lakia, it is a return to greatness.
Wow, what a resurgence for this man. Not only on the international stage and scene, not just counting down the years, but even in this series. 3 kills, 18 deaths, and 1 assist to start it out. And he certainly woke up towards the 2nd and 3rd map. But there's nothing that you could do you could say to take this away from Gen.G as a squad. This team looks scary, threatening, and they're able to come back from these huge deficits from a rough map 1 to a dominant map 2 and 3. EDG played well, but not well enough today.
Yeah, I think it's been a fantastic showing, a great start from them, and unfortunately weren't able to battle back, but the real story here is with Gen.G. You've got returning heroes, teams that have been here before, players that have stepped into this team after maybe having underwhelming previous seasons. Like, expectations for this roster were nowhere near as high as this. Now, they sit top 4 in the world. They're looking at a chance of genuinely fighting for a trophy. And for some of the players, well, this is elation. This is time to prove themselves. For some of them, this is their first time. You're looking at Karon, someone who was stolen from Ranked. And right now, as said, top 4. That's where they currently sit within the VCT.
That's why you don't troll your ranked games.
Yeah.
You never know who's on the other side. Frankly, unbelievable turn of events. Gen.G, there were doubters. There were a lot of doubters. Even after regional performance coming onto the international stage, we weren't sure what we were going to get to see from these guys, but all I want to see is more
Yes.
from this squad. Texture especially. He was absolutely unbelievable in so many of these rounds, able to punch back just as hard as EDG came out. And I mean, silencing Concon, that's a feat of its own.
It must be nice having 2 duelists that are better than most teams' first duelists. Like, you look back to that split game, and it was just him and Meteor, both 22 kills apiece. You look at this game, okay, maybe Texture was a little bit quieter, but he is just basically running straight into the site. But Meteor was thriving. And then, as said, you've got that supporting cast. It truly is a roster that looks complete at this stage. And honestly, if you're heading into the playoffs, I don't want to face up against this team, because even on this was one of their worst maps, and they've just dominated.
Tom, what did we say? What did absolutely everybody say when we saw the veto come through? I heard whispers all throughout the stadium. Why the hell do they keep letting Breeze through?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't think that anyone's going to be asking that moving forward. Jen was right. This is clearly a map that they're confident on. It's definitely a map that they're good on. And now other teams might consider taking it out, but with Split in there as well, I don't know what you want to do. That was a hell of a statement by Gen.G, taking down EDG in the fashion that they did over on Split. Now we got to see if anybody can stop this squad. They're looking for the top.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's almost like you have to start picking their strongest maps in the hope that maybe today they're just not going to be that good on them, because they're clearly happy to play their weaker ones. It really is an interesting prospect with this roster, and honestly, it's been enjoyable. Obviously, for the other side of things in EDG, it's not the end. They're still going to be coming back, but either way, we're going to be heading off now to an interview down with Texture.
Y aquí estamos con Texture y con Jen. We're here joined by Texture and Jen for some translating. And we're going to talk about a little bit what happened into this match. Actually, both of your map picks so far in this tournament have gone the other way. Do you think that it is just you dropping the ball, or maybe the preparation is not on point for the tournament? What do you think is happening?
그동안 경기를 보면 좀 젠지의 맵픽에서 아쉬운 결과가 있었거든요. 좀 준비 과정에서 아쉬웠던 부분이 있는 건지, 아니면 좀 어떻게 설명할 수 있을지 궁금하다고 합니다.
맵픽이요?
네.
맵픽에서는 사실 저희 생각으로는 전혀 문제 없었고요. 근데 오늘은 조금 되게 의외였었던 것 같아요.
왜요?
어센트를 밴을 할 줄은 몰랐어요. 저희가. 네, 그게 다예요.
No, I don't think the map vetoes or preparation were the problems, but what did catch us kind of off guard was EDG banning Ascent.
Ok, that is a good one. Parece ser que no les preocupa mucho que hayan fallado y hayan perdido los 2 map picks que han tenido hasta ahora. La verdad que la mayor sorpresa dice que es que EDG les haya baneado el Ascent. Eso es lo único que les ha sorprendido un poco. Para la segunda pregunta, les voy a preguntar cómo puede ser que no se vengan abajo con toda la presión de llegar siempre a ese tercer mapa. Also, as a result, we had very long matches. You always end up in that third map. Eventually, right, the pressure is going to catch up. Do you think that you deal very well with pressure, or is something that doesn't bother you at all, also moving on to playoffs now?
계속해서 시원한 2대0 승리가 아니라 2대1로 경기를 이기고 있는데, 좀 이런 부분에서 앞으로 계속 플레이오프에 진출하면 점점 더 부담감이 강해질 수도 있잖아요. 이 부담감에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하고 있고, 또 어떻게 좀 해결하려고 하고 있나요?
부담감은 전혀 없고요. 저희가 뒷심이 센 팀이라고 생각을 해서, 근데 2대0으로 끝내고 싶은 게 간절하긴 합니다, 제 개인적으로.
No, not a lot of pressure. We're definitely okay with the pressure, but personally, I am desperate to close our series out 2-0, but we're pretty confident with our resilience and the ability to, crawl back or even just to recover.
Dice que no, la verdad es que la presión no le molesta en absoluto. Le encanta la resiliencia que tienen y cómo son capaces de darle la vuelta a la tortilla. Aunque la verdad es que le gustaría mucho tener un resultado 2-0 para ir tranquilitos. Esto es todo lo que tenemos. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in playoffs. Go get a long rest. And let's toss this back to the desk.
Thank you.
Hey, I got a question for you, Mimi. And
Yeah?
hello, by the way, to Tom joining us on the desk. I have a question for both of you. Does it ever drive you crazy just how fast the night changes? Because Gen G managed to
You
take
sound
that
like
one.
a philosopher. What does that mean? Yes, it does.
Wait.
Absolutely. What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it does. It does.
Strongly agree. Thanks for joining us, Tom. But yes, that match was a roller coaster of emotions. Some
I mean,
not
it's a
all
pretty
too
boring
pleasing.
roller coaster. It was like a really big high and then a really big low
And
if
then a
you're an
really big
EDG
low, yeah.
fan, and if it's the other way around, it's a really big low and then a really big high. I mean, crazy how that one swings around after, honestly, Gen G looked miserable on Icebox. They come out here, they dominate on Split, they show up to Breeze, and I think made great changes to this composition. They were constantly getting into these post plants with this double duelist comp, and their post plants were just unbeatable,
Ratty.
Tom.
They were ratty. Like, that's the thing. They had a double rat. It was like the first player obviously setting up with
A
all
double
of the
rat.
fights, and then
You
they
and
had
I'm in the New York City
second
subway.
placer. Yeah, it was just disgusting. Like, it was beautiful in essence, but also then they just had the disruptive nature of the duelists. It was the perfect like 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's so funny that everything that I was saying about EDG in the first map, suddenly I'm saying about Gen G and this map, it's just, they were suddenly controlling the pace and bullying EDG in this one.
I think it kind of shows that both these teams, honestly, are pretty comparable, right? They're playing very similar, pretty basic comps for the most part. Gen G will throw something like that Breeze in there. They play really pretty solid fundamental Valorant, pretty slow attack sides, trying to find a gap, set things up, but also rely a lot on like the heat of the moment and how good their individual players are popping off in a map. And I think that's why we see, honestly, for both these teams, them be so swingy. One player missing out on a performance, a couple rounds slipping away, and those swings can be massive. But I think we saw peak Gen G in those last two maps.
Yeah, I think the terrifying thing as well is when Kong gets shut down. I've never seen
It's
this
so
team
rare.
look like that before, but it was just like they were so prepared for absolutely everything he was going to do. Like all the aggressive peaks, there was someone watching it, there was a piece of counter utility, like it was just beautiful.
And you guys hit on this at the end, but it's crazy that Gen G are in the top 4, right?
Yeah.
Think about how many of these players, like last year, Texture was on GE, was kind
Who
of
is
like
Caron, by the way?
Yeah, who
Where
is
did he come
Ray
from?
Demon? So much has changed for all these guys. Lucky we haven't seen him since 2021 at the global event.
Do you guys know who Newturn is?
No.
Anybody at home? Have you heard of Newturn before?
It's a long time ago in a VCT far, far away. And you're absolutely right. Karen is like 4 months old into his Valorant career.
Actually, he is 4 months old. The first infant to make top 4 in Valorant. Round of applause.
Yes, he was already in the range when he was born. That's
So is Woot 3 months old? Is that?
crazy.
That's why he's not here.
babies. You know, this new generation. I really give props to them. But right now, we do have a question for our lovely fans. Lovely fans meaning Hypoc. So we do have a question for you, Tom. And Hypoc asked on the desk on day 1, what has been your favorite food in Madrid so far?
Oh, I did go walking one of the days a lot, and they had this like there was a Thai chicken empanada.
Wait, what?
It was like this
Wait,
little.
what?
It was
Sorry.
amazing.
Wait, hold on. A what? Sorry?
Thai chicken.
No, the second part
Thai
of that.
pollo, empanada.
And pinata.
Sure, I can't speak properly.
Where does that? No, I don't know. I've never heard. Is that how you say it?
Maybe that's how
Does it
I
have
say it. It might
pineapples?
be wrong, but that's how I say it.
It's either a Britain moment or
It
I'm
is
just
probably a Britain
mean.
moment. It is
Both are
probably.
possible.
Like,
But
let's
that
be
does
real.
sound amazing.
We're probably both wrong, and Kukuka will come back
Yeah,
in a bit.
she's
and
She'll
tell
come
us
back.
how
We
it's
need her back. Yeah,
She's like, both
for
of you
sure.
are idiots. But, yeah, it was recommended by the shop owner himself. He was like, this is my favorite, and it was God tier.
Well, what is God tier right now is how our brackets are looking, because I bring up the alternate universe of VCT that we are living in right now, and we are seeing Sentinels back, when we're seeing Gen G as well, making the 2 first teams into our playoffs is going to be Sen City and Tiger Nation.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. Sen City, actually in Europe, fun fact, didn't know about that until today, but this really sets us up for honestly some like terrifying 2-1 matches, because all 4 of these teams, I mean, look who's down here. Loud is in the lower bracket, Paper X is down here, Heretics is down here.
We're talking about 2-1s, like
yeah.
Either Heretics or Paper X is out straight away.
Guaranteed.
Like that's ridiculous.
Again, what universe are we living in? What universe are we living in, right? But before we leave, we need to return the favor, and we need to leave a question for your next guest. So I'll leave it to Tom to leave a question.
Make it good.
Oh, what's been your favorite moment so far? Individual play, and why is it Forsaken?
Gotta add that last part.
It's a rigged question, but it's a question nonetheless.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
You
I
could be
like it.
like a test writer.
I like
But
it.
so there's only one answer, and if they get it wrong,
Yeah.
then they're foolish. Let's see who gets the question.
Yeah. I'm eager to see. I'm eager to see it. And again, these matches today have just been so amazing. It's been a great first day on the desk. By the way, thank you for giving me those matches. We had Sentinels and we had KC, and then we had this roller coaster of emotions from EDG and Gen.G. Mimi.
Yeah, it was great having you for the first day, and honestly, like. The matches today were great, especially that Sen KC one. I'm so excited to see Karmine Corp play again. I want that rematch so bad.
Yeah, definitely. And Tom, what are your final thoughts for the day?
All I'm saying is that Pacific on the desk and Pacific gets a win. So I guess for every Gen.G game, they're going to have to bring you back just for that extra little bit of support.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you weren't here for Paper X, and you know, look what happened.
What's gonna happen?
That is exactly what went wrong. So you guys know what's going to happen. Well, that's what needs to happen. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow from Madrid. Hasta mañana. One of the biggest matches of Masters Madrid is coming right up. Sentinels versus Karmine Corp.
But this is probably one of the matches that people were expecting the most. And not only the people, also the players.
We're starting on split. Sentinels looked unbeatable on this map.
They're looking the wrong way! Shit up top! Real way to play this one and fight this. Doubled up together. The double swing is called Celsius. Hunting satchels now in towards the back of the side. Shin! Nasty! Anchor in position! Couldn't see a bloody thing. And I also have another go of it! And once more, Porsche left alone with the things, but that is Sentinels leading the charge and leading this series.
What outrageous dominance.
Well, let's find out if this one makes it to map number 3.
One enemy remaining.
Shots going wide, seconds! No way he's getting away with that. Pressing forwards, the players. We're gonna win this game! Sen are fired up. They're all grouped up right towards the back TP on top. That's amazing. Satchel! No way, Magnum! Nasty shot, nasty business. No way, Tens!
One enemy
Adjustment of a lifetime.
Spike down B. Long.
Nagula! And it can't come down to anything, Thomas E! No chance! Sentinels have done it!
A battle for that sure spot into playoffs. China's #1 seed versus Pacific's #1 seed. It's EDG versus Gen.G. We've seen, Mimi, just how hard these teams can punch, even against the best of them all.
There's no easy way out. And with the shot not hit. And he's grabbed a quick double. The lead now convincingly in their favor. Nobody up top. The spike still not planted, but Smoggy finds both kills. Pick up the pieces here in the pistol. Already finding a lot of value is Meteor.
And Concon, you can't allow him to survive in these sort of positions. Just continues his aggression, but there is no hope. EDG come through with a dominant victory. Oh, he is going to be able to spot the man in the corner. Howdong, though, not stunned up. It doesn't matter. Thunder's going to leave Texture completely stunned up, but he hasn't been spotted. One already baiting them out. A second flash, and there is no hope. Taking him down, but now Meteor in the right place at the right time. The Titans going to go through, but he runs through on the other side.
One enemy
Into the 1v1, but it's still Concon.
This is my place!
Lakia seems to be destined to close this round out. There it is. Not just the round, but the map with it.
Well, the winner moves to playoffs, and the loser will have to fight for survival one last time.
Smoggy actually pushing into his own util, and it's so easy.
Nice position.
Oh no!
What's this gone away? Again, again. There's a smoke to deny them a meteor in an aggressive position. Just doesn't seem to be missing a beat. And it's looked like it is done and dusted. Gen.G will be the second team to make it through to the playoffs. For Lakia, it is a return to greatness.
Cosas que decirte ahora, pero antes de empezar quiero que le demos sin freno. Si tú quieres podemos empezar desde cero. Sabes que contigo yo me atrevo y quiero más y más. Y poder soñarte y verte al despertar y volar. Porque solo tú me llevas a otro lugar. Quiero más, solo dime, baby, que no va a pasar. Quiero más de ti. Solo quiero más de ti. Hey, hey, no. Solo quiero más de ti. Contigo me voy, no miro el reloj, si miro detrás, permiso y el vuelo, que este es un viaje perfecto. Ignoremos los defectos, todo lo que dice el resto, todo lo que dice el resto. Tengamos algo perfecto, ignoremos los defectos, todo lo que dice el resto. Solo quiero más de ti. Hey, hey, no.
Welcome back to Masters Madrid, and we saw that Sentinels really were able to get that first map. However, KC, they came prepared. They came like with guns a-blazing against Sentinels here, and I think that they were talking about how challenging this match was going to be because Sentinels probably didn't get as much rest, as much sleep. I don't think so. But before we dive fully into map number 1, we want to gauge the audience. Which team has their allegiance? So spam in chat right now, as in right now, guys, Sentinels or KC. And we'll get to your votes a little bit later. But as we said, Mimi, that match, I mean, there are so many rounds that just were probably masterpieces in what could possibly happen on Split.
Yeah, both these teams, I think, had such incredible ideas of how their opponent wanted to play this one. But to me, it was really defined by the protocols, and Sentinels showed why their defense split is so good. I think something like 7 rounds in a row to close that one out, Bea.
Yeah, exactly. The retakes were on point. The fact that they were reading off of each other, exactly what they showed back in Americas, but actually the fact that they're able to do it here. And also the KC is not prepared and somehow does not expect it, cannot think through that is what surprised us, that they're still that comfortable doing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to take a look at a round from actually the first half that talks about just how good Sentinels protocols are, but also how good TenZ has looked on the Omen. So we're going to start this one off. The situation that we're in is we're in mid, and Sentinels have started off by heavy fighting here. There's been a 1-for-1 trade. And, well, John QT has noticed a little something. No Sentinel on the KC composition. So instantly, you see him and Tens trying to take this opportunity and find a gap to lurk into A. As we watch this one play out a little bit, that trade I already mentioned has just taken place, and now this lurk activates. John and Tens find the perfect timing, because you see, the second that trade happens, KC has the same idea. Players are coming back ramp, they're re-clearing this space. But as we speed up a little bit, this lurk makes it all the way through, and as you look at your map again, the players are being called back into A, actually making noise when they run through here, which means that KC has players ready to fight on ramp. But that's not the priority. Instead, it's all going to come down to this flank. I'll speed us through again, so we get to this flank being activated. That's a great kill by Tens. But now here comes Tens' mobility when he's playing on the Omen. Kaplan talks about why they put this guy in this role, because of the X factor. And we see it here. His first kill is from CT spawn, fighting out into heaven. The second is teleporting here, and if you just watch the minimap as this plays out, he's gonna reposition towards main, throw a paranoia towards ramp, and as we look, Shin completely blinded, and Tens is so quickly beating that timing, getting up towards heaven and killing him. But he's not done yet. He teleports towards heaven yet again. He re-pushes into this space, and as this retake, this is cut a little bit forward in this round, as this retake is coming out from KC, and Sentinels is stuck back sight, watch Tens on that little mini-map again, because he's gone all the way up towards heaven, and his third and final kill of the round is from that position. Sentinels are so good at, in these chaotic late rounds, finding the perfect position, setting up their players for these plays when risks need to be taken, but also just finding great calls on both sides of the map.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is that movement that is going to characterize them, and I think that is something that they're going to need going onto Lotus, going onto that next map, because even though Shin was a very good strongholder for the majority of their defense, giving us amazing rounds to watch, I don't think it's going to be enough, and definitely shows up how prepared Sentinels was for this split. As you said, all the weaknesses that were exploited time and time again, and those timeouts were simply brilliantly used by Sentinels. Every single time they had the response. Even when Eng was putting something different on the table, I think the Zekken was just brilliant with his movement and with his interpretation of what the next movement was going to be for them.
Oh, look at that. We have 84% in favor of Sentinels.
Wild.
And I think that, that Proud also agrees. I mean, we were surprised that we actually heard the Sentinels chant over there. But of course, KC fans were jumping on there as well. So I think right now it could be anybody's game, even as we look at the fan reception, right? But right now, it is going to be time for the AIM Lab shoot-around. So let's check in on KC Shin right now. By the way, Shin had some amazing plays, and a big part of why Sentinels had such a hard time against KC was this player.
I think that there is a couple of things that made the match and the score seem closer than it was. First, that crazy second pistol round that we saw when KC just had this amazing good play using the Yoru and the TP that they set up at the beginning of the round. And another one of those factors was Shin as a strongholder, as I was saying. Name a more iconic duo, this guy and defending B.
Has he ever lost a 1v2 clutch on the B side of split?
I just want to go back to EMEA and watch that ace that we couldn't see, but he managed to defend time and time again, and it's so complicated. I think that also his utility coming from an Astra, when you don't have that Sentinel, there's a lot of responsibility that falls into your place.
Absolutely. Across that first map, both teams really had such a great read. I think they both had this idea of really forward committing to fighting in towards their opponent when they're in their post flanks to stop these set retakes, and I really think that's what got KC in particular on that attacking side, right? When Zekken was going in, was disrupting these ideas, but it was the exact same thing from Sentinels. KC had that same idea, but they managed to shut that down. They did such a good job at playing up against that forward aggression and still managing to play these set retakes.
And not only that, they also managed to win, I believe, almost half or even more than half of their 4v5s. It's having the right read and the right response, and what the information that you gather, even when you're having one player down because of getting that information, the fact that they're so in sync into following onto the steps, into knowing everything that comes after, has to come into play also in Lotus. FPX showed some of the cracks that are already on that map the other day, and it was only because of that crazy performance that by Narrate that they managed to close that one out, because FPX, trust me, a 13-10 is not that much. And specifically, after seeing the retakes that we got from Sentinels and how we struggle on that on their attacking side, I'm worried.
We're going into Lotus right now, and here no sort of big surprises here on the agent composition. But Mimi, I think that definitely we're gonna have our eyes on each and every one of these players right now, and of course the Tense Omen again.
In this first half, what I'm watching is Sentinels post-plant protocols. In their match against Heretics, what they did really well was in their post-plants, getting forward, playing into their opponent's smokes, playing little trap plays up towards Heaven, disrupting those retakes. I think that's been the biggest focus for Sentinels coming into this event. It shut KC down on map 1. If they can do that again, they have a real chance to close out this series 2-0.
Yeah, exactly. And for K-Corp, we know how important for them is the aggression at the beginning of the round, how they're going to be fighting for A control time and time again. But I assume that Sentinels is going to be very ready for it.
Well, let's find out if this one makes it to a map number 3 and send it back to your casters. Here's Bren and Sideshow.
All hope isn't lost, really, if you are a Karmine Corp fan. Lotus is a map where they are highly specialized on. They have shown great success in the past on this one, but they are up against Sentinels, who, listen, there are no slouches on it either. It's the reason we were so excited about the map pool heading into this one between both of these teams. We're seeing an interesting beginning. Already, it looks like it's gearing up for a lot of aggression out towards the middle of the map.
It looks like we've got a set pistol round coming out here, especially from KC. Anytime you see the Killjoy player on defense not buying utility and just going straight for the Sheriff, you're expecting something a bit pacey. KC trying to take tempo right at the beginning of this round. Walking up with the paranoia prep, trying to take the fight to Sen.
No signs of life, John.
Oh, the timing there. Yeah. If that had been a tad earlier, KC probably would have stayed to try to take the fight. But now they're anticipating that John's calling a reaction. And they've read it correctly. The desk was talking a lot about mobility, Brendan. I feel like that's going to be key on both of these attack sides. I think with mobility comes confidence. You have to be confident to be able to make that play. Trust the call, take the swing, and so far, that's been one big area where Sen are looking better.
It's been missing a little bit for Karmine Corp. Maybe a symptom of, as we already mentioned, a new guard versus the old guard. Sentinels have got some experienced players. So do Karmine Corp, don't get me wrong. Magnum himself was shut down his hopes and dreams in a RIRAKIB 2021 Grand Finals by TenZ himself. So now we see it, a bit of an explosion. The pivot here over towards B. Open sight line rate. Ooh, chunk load of damage. Has to back away and respect the nade now.
And that's their star player.
Spike planted.
There's no heals online as well. No chances there for him to get top back up. Contact called by Karmine Corp right behind them. That's 3 players looking to set their sights on the link. Distraction plays with the Prowler, peeking. Sassy is out wide. Not really too much in terms of the connection. Zakan taking the time here to reposition up towards Heaven. What a call made. Still nearsighted, blinded up, but Narrate, he will fall. That prior damage done. Clearing him out into the site. It's getting dangerous. It's getting dicey. A little bit all over the place here. Damage just wandering right into him. Zelsis definitely doing it here with the players tickling down a wide face of Zelsis. There's no time left whatsoever for Karmine Corp. The struggles here, the opening.
And again, look at how mobile Sentinels are in these post-plant situations. They got into an uncomfortable spot, and immediately Zekan calls to push Heaven. TenZ smokes it. It's a weird smoke, one that they can dominate, not your standard smoke. They get inside of it very quickly and set up the duo that dominated on split to be able to win the post-plant and secure a pistol. So neutralizing that early round aggression and playing a dynamic post-plant that looked superb. You can only go for those plays if you're feeling really confident and very in sync with your teammates. I think that's been a clear difference today for Sen, and one to keep an eye on. I don't actually think that Martin can swing through this gap between the turret and the wall.
He can jump it.
Can he squeeze his little legs through?
Yeah, he's through, he's past it, but
and he's dead.
Is watching, yeah. Very aware of it. Now the door opens wide, so this is Sends Protocol to clear through C. Oh my, okay, could have got dangerous. It's all good though. Nade. Thomasy out wide. Take your pick. Do you die to the nade or do you die to us? And now just Shin left standing. I feel like I've been saying that quite a bit, but it is the eco round and early days yet for Loaders. Still, 2 in a row now for Sen. They got the expected one with 4 players surviving.
We're expecting this to be a pretty attack-sided map.
Can I get a drop?
Sentinels versus Heretics, that's exactly what we saw. Right, Heretics got up to a really big lead. I think it was an 8-4 half, something like that. And Sen were able to bring it back. Incredible attack sides, and both of these teams have been good in that situation.
Stay focused.
So it's not over for KC if they can't build some momentum here in the first half, but it is going to be very difficult for morale, for the way that they approach the map, for their confidence.
Well, pushing through with a Prowler. Next wave of util here. Paranoia and a Satchel. Only grants some access to B main. The rest of the map not really being played. In fact, Carmen Corda wants to have taken a few liberties out towards A rubble. John hoping to spot it out with the jump spots, but there's a lot to account for. Here's the jump spot. Yeah. Wow. John not even really aware of the fact that they could have walked all the way back up there. So first kill. In that direction. Similar scenes for Sentinels here, just to try and clear through the front section of C Mound.
Look how deep Tens is.
I mean, he's going walkabouts.
He could win this round for them despite being down 4v5.
Behind it, they don't seem to be aware of this at all.
Not even slightly.
There's been a gap in the defensive protocols. A nade to force these players out wide. The damage being done to them. The rate looking to the side. TP.
He missed the teleport.
Missed the TP. Shin! He catches him. Judge in the face second. To trade by every part of the definition. Prowler forwards, jumping. Damage. The shot's going wide. Second. There's no way he's getting away with that.
I love the attempt though. I really respect it. It felt like there was serious danger in that round. The timing that Tens found was extraordinary, and I think possibly one of the reasons why John got a misread on what was the defensive setup looked like and just ended up dying. That's the unfortunate play though. 2 of the players both got seized there towards the back of the site. Shin and Narrate, and Tens, he just missed it. You can see the frustration there. I mean, he was absolutely dominant map 1, so he expects to be able to win those.
Always back up on either side. This time Carmen Core more keen to fight over C Man. Look at it setting up with the Paranoia and a few players.
Trying to deny the ult orbs on both sides of the map.
Good plan, but well, Magnum's just out wide like that. There's no return of fire from Thomas. He can't take the fight and stand his ground, not with the Odin.
Oh, he's going to try and get in behind the Showstopper engage here, instead of being a vulnerable victim on site.
Could be the danger zone still. Showstopper, Thomasy can't hit it. Spraying through near sighted with the Prowler. Second Forcer just fired a rocket blindly. The 2 players down now for Carmen Court. Do you really still choose to take this one, or do you choose to take the save? They're looking, hoping for a bit more. That's an odd one. Bouncing off the tile or something, but the orb still does the job. Cuts off that one sight line, and now it has to be the call, surely.
I think you got to save here.
Yeah, you have to. They look like they're still sticking around there. They want to make a go of it.
The economy on Shin and Thomasy is just not good enough to be able to go for this one, I don't think.
No. Now they're backing away.
And that's a huge win for Sen here. Sen, by the way, getting into their very standard post-plant setups where they have Zekken up top. So they often tuck somebody in towards the box. They have a one-way smoke as well. And you can see here, that really is the crucial duel when Sassy is able to get that pick onto Thomasy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the real one that matters.
It's astounding as well. I mean, the consistency with Zekken frying just builds up these ults like it's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see that the clear game plan there from KC was we're going to fight over ult orbs on both sides of the map. So they had a triple player over towards C, fighting very heavy for mount control, because that's where they expect Sen to start the round. And then they had a crossfire setup, but it just ended up with Magnum kind of wandering around in the open. He missed the timing, didn't tuck, couldn't play the cross with Thomasy properly. Ended up giving away his life a little too freely. And Zekken has started this map, much as he started the other one, dominating.
Just rolling. No fight to contest over the A rubble control. Sentinel's happy to concede it. So Carmen Core going to just place Shin into that forward angle. He's going to be getting a lot of mid-round information for his team. Lots of juicy tidbits that Magnum could use for some potential calls.
These are the situations on defense where it's so difficult to get a read on where the attacking team is going to end, especially if they have a really competent IGL like John Cutie. So this is going to be a lineup to try to clear out Shin if he was playing behind Rubble or on top of it. But Shin is playing that jump spot angle a little further forwards. So he's not really going to get caught by this.
Might even get value.
I mean, he's in a very exposed spot.
Really pressing forwards, now has to respect it. I mean, he was just trying to get ahead of the wall. So they couldn't lurk out, but now backing away. A few stray shots.
And this is where KC start to lack information. 45 seconds. They know that Sen might be pressuring A, but are they really there? Is it a fake commitment?
Crossfire. Not even quite. I mean, Martin's just trying to play, weaving in and out of this wall, see if he can get that time with the door.
It looks like a fake. I mean, Martin's seen that there's nobody really pushing off the back of this.
Yeah, it's not really going to be calling as well for the rotations here. Paranoia forwards. Martin can't do the same moves as Zekken was doing, not in that last map. Can't get out of it with the satchels.
Is this going to end B? Straight into Shin!
Shin! Could have been a difference maker, might still be. With only 12 seconds left, they've really just got to get a move on into the site B. Plant, Magnum, forwards, pressing, forwards! The players, they're dropping all over the place. The time pressure maybe just getting to them, nerves getting frantic for Karmine Corp.
Those are the kind of confidence moments that I'm talking about, where it feels like Sen are very strong in those kind of spots. You see Zekken or Tens in a situation like that, they're taking the swing, they're taking the fight. Feels a little more tentative from KC, and they're getting caught out. A half clearance by Magnum.
We're gonna win this game.
And it does look like that at the moment. You see Sen are fired up. They believe that they have had the most difficult run. I mean, their run through kickoff, through the play-ins, their run here, fighting against Heretics, then fighting against Karmine Corp. Two big, heavy hitters coming out from EMEA.
You got to think as well. I mean, you got two of those teams in the EMEA. It's only EMEA and Americas who are winning the titles.
Yep.
Two of the potential strongest teams at this event they've had to go up against early.
And Kaplan clearly not happy in the interview at the arrival at having to be last out, first in, and not having that prep time.
I saw him at breakfast. I don't think he got sleep.
No, I mean, he's come in here, and I feel like the whole team has just got an aggression about them.
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, they're fired up. There's a certain rage about it with the way that they're carrying themselves in this one. They are determined. Doesn't matter how many obstacles you throw up in their face. Doesn't matter if you give them the #1 seed, the #2 seed, the EMEA. They don't care. They're on a warpath right now, and their goal is the playoffs.
I remember, this map tends to be attack-sided, so they need to be stacking up as many rounds as they possibly can. Karmine Corp are no slouches. Assuming that KC don't get mentally boomed here, they will still probably put up a good attack side themselves. So you can't let off the gas.
What is this cooking? Okay. Fast play, Paranoia.
But Sen don't bite. They don't go for an aggressive reaction somewhere else around the map. They're playing it slowly. So many players from Sentinels are close to these ults coming online as well. The lockdown's one away, the pit too.
Kills or orbs, grand them it. Karmine Corp, of course, back end of the timeout, holding on to Mount. Paranoia only clearing the one side, nade as well through. There's a couple of kills collected on either side, yet it's still Sentinels out on top of that one, whether the weaponry or otherwise, but they've got the protocols, they've got the aim, sharp as anything.
The two players that were dominating the duels on Split, Tens and Zekken, just continue. Anytime you see them in a duel, obviously here it's against the Sheriff, but it just has tracked all series long. You see them taking a fight, you expect them to win it. The way they're swinging it, you know they expect to win it too.
Yeah.
It's been monstrous.
There's none of that swinging into crouch spray, uncertainty with your aim, with your own abilities. It's just decisiveness.
It's all been there.
Yeah. But they expect to be winning every single fight. And look at it swarming the last two remnants here of Karmine Corp, 5-1. And I know we've already mentioned, listen, it's an attack side of map. Everything points towards it so far. All the data, doesn't matter what changes they made on Lotus, it still points into that direction. There are still chances, as much as that feels right now like there's nothing really going for Karmine Corp. The question is just how many rounds do they really need to get online on the defensive side?
Quite. We don't know that, right? Sen didn't look like they put together too much defense on the last time that we saw them play Lotus, but their players were still good enough in the game against Heretics to give them rounds every now and then, which was more than you saw on the other side. They're a very dangerous team. Even if they're getting outplayed in the macro, or even if the map doesn't lend itself to, you know, one side or the other, they're still going to find those win conditions. And here, you have huge ults up for both teams. KC, eco swing round. They have to invest all of their ults to try to win this one.
Have to play close here because he's got the showstopper. There it is.
Beef on the movement?
Acknowledged, yeah, beef on the movement. Massive one, in fact. He sees Tethered to the spot, rooted down. Won't be getting value with that. In fact, the second one to take a revive into this.
That's wild. That is wild.
The nade, unfortunate.
And I said beef on the movement, but I think Zekens threw a blast pack to disrupt that, and the C's came through afterwards as well.
A little bit unlucky towards the end there. I think that nade was meant to be tucked into the corner.
But I mean, amazing reaction instantly from Sen to stop that from finding any value. And they've neutralized the threat again, slowed the round down, denied information for KC, and now they can go wherever they like.
9-4 through the site, that's one trigger onto it, so they're going to know that at least there's one player there. That's Thomasy! Time to shine, son. Time to step all the way up, and he certainly has done so. Still in control of Tree. Here's the pivot being called. Door broken, Haunt forwards, rotations abound. Breaking it through now with the paranoia to really set that one up. Shin giving them this space. Lockdown, going to be committed. Close towards it with 15 seconds to spare. Is there any attempt by Carmen Core? Do they want to be aggressive into it? Looks like they're going to give them that space, and now planning for a retake of their own.
This pit could allow, John Cuty's going to commit pit here, and this can allow them to get back into the site and help them flood.
Lockdown.
Stop the lockdown from really finding too much value.
We'll see. Even Tense as well, holding the TP as well, making sure they can get straight back into the fight. He's forwards, into the corner, barely expecting it, but it's traded almost rapidly on the approach of counter pit. Online, layers it forwards, and Carmen Court have got the players, they've got the bodies, they just need to win, and they're going to get it. The round going their way, finally. Feels like it's been a bloody long time at that, but that second one is on the board for them. And they took a lot, don't get me wrong. A lot of ultimates had to be expended.
Yeah. Sen made it extremely expensive, and I think that's the silver lining to KC winning the round there if you're looking at it from the perspective of Sentinels. But a lot of ults being drained on both sides. This play, though, it just wins the round.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They're hoping that Thomasy is going to be passive in this situation, is going to respect the Nightfall, worried about being pushed from one angle. No, he holds his ground, steps up when his team needs him, and puts one on the board.
We'll see more of that. Show me a bit more fire, Carmen Core. Come on. Satchels through for Zekken. It's fast and double satchels, both being used to punish potentially. All from Tenzi's just taken out.
Completely punished.
One bullet to the Dharma is all it takes. And yeah, that's the punishment of stick in that one. I suppose he thought it was clear. Door opened up, rotating now, calling. Pivot, getting a move on, out towards the C side. Now it is entirely open. Util still going to be used to clear it. There was a C's and a Nana Swarm. It's going to be completely given up, in fact.
Now the question is, what kind of post-plant aggression do we see here from Sen? I felt like on Split, their post-plant aggression was timed well. They played together. A little more sloppy for KC. Here, we see John with a bit of a timing.
Bit of a timer, but he might just miss it here. There's a Nightfall as well. Boombot forwards, Nightfall. Now the sound cue is going to be missing from a few of these players. Elsis is in a one-and-done position. Blinded, Satchels, Martin barely grappling onto that one. A Satchel forge just in case, cuts it up. And now everybody playing from Mount. A backwards position, but smoked off. Immaculate stuff from Shin. Almost going down to the spray. Down here. Damage done, but the bullets flying through. And true for Carmen Core. Narrate. They're going to stick this half. 1v2, 1v2, not sticking it out wide. And the patience played by Carmen Core will get the job done.
That's more like it. That's what you got to see from KC when they were playing in EMEA. Coordinated on the retake. I was worried just for a moment when they lost track of where the final player was and one went to check Waterfall, the other Mound. But they got the play there. The punish onto Tens through a Snakebite Nanoswarm to stop the rest of the team coming in, isolate Tens, get the swing and punish. Very nice from KC, and they follow up. 2 rounds back-to-back now puts KC in a much better position. And the ults still nowhere near for Sentinels after that huge explosive round in round 7, where both teams utilized the entire war chest.
Follow from the Prowlers, just a handshake there, front section of B. No real aggressive map control other than Shin. He's Putting close to Mount. Refreshing the one way. He's going to be able to TP out of dodge if there is any danger.
Now you can see pings here though. They're getting ready to put pressure B and actually crush this C setup. Shin has got to be so worried about this.
That's why he's holding it. Paranoia, but still, it's going to be coming from multiple angles in the end. Does have the TP forwards. What a call!
That's
Martin
confident.
just swinging right through. Narrate follows it up, and listen, there's no one else watching for it. That was the danger there if he ended up losing that fight, but they don't. It's exactly right, Josh. What you were calling for, that confidence is back, and it's boundless right now for Carmen Court.
Opportunism, looking to take the timings, even if they're not playing together. KC find themselves in another 5v3, very similar to round 7.
Easy as it goes, forwards, past it, tens. Tethered to the floor, can't see his Elsis just to watch his teammates back. He can be trusted with that at least, but will fall. Spike, dropped out in the open. 2v4, make it a 1v4. John, no chance whatsoever here. He's on the opposite side of the map. With only 20 seconds left, will be the save.
Yeah, KZ finding that mid-round aggression. Sure, the previous was taken with that punish onto tens, but they found themselves the player advantage situations so many times in the last 3 rounds. That's one of the biggest reasons why they're able to actually win them. They're able to find a double kill that comes out from Tomashi, then they get the punish onto tens, and in this round, it was such a nice audible called by Martin there and Narrate, deciding to take the swing through, using Shin almost as bait over towards C. It's pre-planned or called on the fly. Shin was completely alone on C. I mean, this team is big brain enough that they might have set that up as a bit of a fake there, like, oh, look, we're playing Mount, come and punish us. Either way, lovely setup by KC. And you were asking a question earlier, Bren, as we go into this Sentinels timeout. How many rounds does KC need on their defense side? Because this is generally an attack-sided map. And I think now that they've got 4, you're feeling relatively comfortable, even if Sen take all the rest.
At minimum.
A4 half, you can definitely come back from that on Lotus.
You come over that.
You need things to go right for you, obviously. You need, you know, either a pistol or to start rolling with the rifle rounds and get the ults online. It's not a given, but there is actually reason to celebrate for the KC fans right now.
I'm not even watching a game. I mean, obviously there's not a game going on right now, but they're all facing away from the screens. I respect it, man.
They don't need to look.
They are the loudest ones in the building, and they are taking up probably 1/8, maybe that.
Yeah, the loudest per capita, but there's a lot of Sen fans here too.
There are.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the desk threw the KC versus Sentinels on the English broadcast, by the way. Just ruining the KC fans.
Yeah, what do you expect?
Oh, only 15% of you think KC is going to win. That's funny.
Do that Kamido's chat, see what happens. See what happens. Telling you, probably 100%, but...
Zekken now has a judge. Does this mean we're getting into something a little more pacey?
He's got prowess. That double satchel plays can really take the space quite rapidly. This time, again, a lot of players at Carmen Court grouped up behind Mound, looking to try and fight this one eager, in fact.
That one Prowler makes them think that it's going to be the split push again.
Open the door. They're trying to get proactive just in case to punish those players.
Yeah.
Nice idea as well. Shin using his second smoke, but here we go. Follow-up fight. Now he doesn't have a smoke for the one-way here. Paranoia is excellent. They're all grouped up right towards the back TP on top.
That's amazing.
This man is terrifying.
What an angle to find.
All the way forwards, judge in hand, Shin. It's away with it. Still, reinforcements arriving. Narrate can't withstand it though, the pressure. It's too much, it's immense. This man is a thing of nightmares.
The mobility, the confidence, both working in tandem. He's on for the ace.
Give the people what they want. One left standing, the counterpart on the Omen. He knows Shin is around, he knows Shin is lurking.
Shin just tucking to spoil the clip. Ten and 4, what a demon. You saw that the counter paranoia there thrown from Shin pushed back the rest of Sentinels. Nobody else was able to get the punish in that kind of way. But then when Tens teleports up top, he's not been caught by it. Everybody else is blind. It is shooting fish in a barrel. And it really is terrifying what Tens is able to do on Omen. It's fit him like a glove, this new role.
Oh, yeah. That's how you know he's different from 2021. Not just the agent's being played, man, but he didn't play for the clip. down Shin. Very true. Keep the rifle going.
Now in that round, there was still a little bit of danger, right? I mean, Shin got the pick onto Tens. If Narrate had been able to punish Tens too, sorry, Shin got the pick onto Zekken. If Narrate had been able to punish Tens, maybe KC could have come out with something.
2 more rounds. Cacophony is building here in the Madrid arena.
A Zen fight for rubble control, something they have not been doing very much of. Zelsis quite far away. His lockdown could be a large entry piece of utility, but they could also save it for post, as Zekken now had Showstopper online too. Narrate with a swing.
See what they end up using. Bots?
Now, that is going to tell Zekken there's a player that... Decided not to use the ult though, just taking space on site.
There's a chance of it. Everyone setting up from Carmen Core side. Backwards, spots ahead, vulnerable.
You should run.
Look how nicely though, they've saved all of this utility for the post plant here. Sure, the spike isn't down just yet, but they're anticipating the fact that KC are going to be playing retake because of the ults, and the threat is more dangerous than the action.
Fine time off the clock. Second, here's it. Footsteps. Satchel. Oh, no way, Magnum. Nasty shot, nasty business. Here, Tens will fall.
Perfect.
Magnum through the back now, and a side control gained here, close to the corner. Shin, instantaneous with the trade, sticking now. Thomasy onto it, but destroyed. Spam through the smoke. 2 players caught. Surely that's the fuser now. Another tap from Magnum, but it's just him. 1v1. Him versus Zelsis. Sticking, have on it, all the way through the defuse. Zelsis puts him to bed.
Little bit of danger again there as KC started to get that retake working. Really lovely the follow-up on the Paranoia and Martin's entry through, but Sen stay solid. So many of these post plants are set up with 2 layers from Sentinels. A few players playing further forward to draw all of that utility, and then a few players further back playing the spam game. You know, that we see the same thing when it's planted over towards C. You have Tens in a more advanced position on top of the box, a few players playing out towards Mount. Yep. It works all across their map pool, and we're straight back into things. No early fight over towards Rubble, though. KC dominate that area early on, open the door, and that is going to tell John right at the beginning that it was heavy Rubble control.
But they didn't use a nade. There was no signs of life from Martin, so they might think it's only 2. Expecting perhaps to call that pivot here on either side. So you can see it, the territory being slowly gained.
Sassy taps the orb. Once the rest of his team's got ready, that's Nightfall online.
Here it is. Through with a Nightfall, Prowlers. Reaching the targets, a few of them, but broken in time here. Now potential for the retake. Still that danger with a Showstopper in the back pocket, no way.
That's just spam.
Narrate finding it onto Tens. Beautiful first kill for them, and this is going from bad to worse really for Sentinels here. They still can't get a safe plant down. Util flying through along with the rocket. Martin, unfortunate really not to get that one. Satchel through into the back, pushing his teammates right into forwards. Magnum is there, collapsing, colliding, spraying them all through. John QT's got so much to deal with here. No more bullets. Right click, but everyone's there to collect it out. And so a 7-5 half. Carmen Core, a sneaking suspicion that they're going to be happy with it.
Very happy. That's an extremely solid defense side, powered by those retakes. I mean, don't let the technicality fool you. They flooded back in there using their same retake setups, and the timing for Magnum to swing around the side when the rest are putting pressure up on top, it all worked really well.
Signs of life from Carmen Core. Really excellent stuff on their retakes all around here. Still a steady lead for Sentinels, a steady lead I should say. Let's send it down to the floor with an interview with some special guests.
On the floor, and I'm joined by Mama Zekken and Mama Tens. Give it up for the parents. Los madres. Mama Zekken, we saw you in Americas cheering on your son. Now you're here in Madrid cheering on your son. How does it feel to be able to travel the world and support your son as he pursues his dream?
I feel like I'm the happiest mom in the world. Woo!
Amen to that, sister. I love that. And Mama Tens, I found out this is the first time that you've ever watched your son play on stage. How has the experience been? All the fans here in this building.
It's been amazing, incredible. It's a dream come true. I met so many amazing fans of his. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Guys, give it up. Give it up. It's a beautiful thing for sure. Have you been enjoying Madrid?
Yes, it's beautiful here. First time to Europe.
First time to Europe. First time to Europe, everybody. Wow. All right. Mama Zekin, how has the Madrid experience been for you as well?
Mi amor en Madrid.
I mean, she's the best hype man in the biz right here, baby. Let's just send it back to the cast and get this party rolling. Give it up one more time, guys.
Oh, my. That is one hell of a way to get the crowd on your side.
Do we need to pick her up for the broadcast?
Yeah, a bit of crowd work.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Keep Golden Boy off. I want to see grand finals. Mama Zekin out there hyping up the crowd because I mean I'm loving the hype though because this match is delivering so far. Oh, yeah. We got to see excellence from Sentinels when it came to split. It was close in the first half and then they pulled away. And I think KC may have done enough here to feel confident going into the second half of Lotus. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean they're even favored. But when you look at what's on the board, 5 rounds on defense, normally KC very good on attack. You've got to be feeling good.
Definite chances. Stay in the series. They have a chance of things here, but players are grouped up and they're meeting side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Prowler will it afford anything? Right into the face. There's a satchel. Martin, not even with a shorty, but he will go down. And Anna Swarm's tearing him to shreds.
And KC decide not to commit off the back of that. Certainly Sentinels getting surprised by how deep KC got before the trap play was punished. But there are a lot of players still here on the C site.
That noise re-hit. The danger is still here. Like you said, players anchoring into the seaside. Zekian holding into the corner. What a peek. It's a Karma Core classic, and they've just got it. Working themselves. Dodging and weaving out of the woodwork is what it feels like.
Really nice. All of that fundamental prowess that we saw from KC being demonstrated here. Certainly warming up into the tournament. Starting to showcase the strengths of what made them a team to be feared. This pistol round was a great call coming out from Magnum. As long as they can secure things, and John Cuties denied the miracle, they'll be feeling, again, really good about their chances.
Doesn't have the tools for it. I mean, a lot of players, weak narrate, chooses to put an end to it. So, pistol round should, you know, as long as things go correctly, end up being that 7-7 equalization.
Yeah, and that's Magnum that actually gets the kill there, but there's so many little set plays that we saw from KC when they were playing in EMEA, things like that. Doubling up and setting up, you know, maybe a high-low setup or a jump peek, and the second player swings in. Now we see Magnum picking up the Outlaw, actually. Nobody on Send-Binding Armor, of course. Not going for that force buy.
Few pieces of util.
And how many times have we seen this in the series? No real possibility for the team that lost the pistol to do anything because both teams just kind of rotate around each other. Yeah. I feel like every time a team's won the pistol, we've seen this in the series so far. Dodging that variance.
Roaming around the map like a pack of wild animals. Free sight for Karma Core. Plan of a mound control.
Yeah, and a great plan. And now, once you get the plan down this easily, you have the mental bandwidth to start thinking about how do we optimize our ults. Right, so do we want to try to load them into Narrate because he's already halfway? Do we want to try to prioritize Martin, perhaps? These kind of things you can really start to ponder. But there is still pressure here onto Tomashi.
In fact, it's kind of committing utility into this. Things they really did purchase and buy. They've squeezed the players out towards Mound. Time ticking away, running short. Free clearance, called by Carmen Core, so right through the back there, and Sentinels realize that there's really no chances of this. They're making another call now, moving their way forwards.
And I think just looking to try to die to Spike here. But Sassy is going to take a little bit of a time in.
Players are caught out in the open. They're going to be able to die to the Spike. Yep, yeah. Okay.
So, really successful there, to be honest, from Sentinels. Not allowing KC to get close to any of the large ultimates. And that's very important. Lotus, I think, more than any map in the pool right now, is so ult cycle dependent, especially with it being attack-sided and both orbs being accessible to the attackers too. It's a mixed bag of a buy, though, for KC. They've come into this bonus with some unusual weaponry. I'm interested to see if Magnum can get anything done with his Outlaw. He's the sole player holding back the A push, and Sen have committed 4 players to dominating that fight.
Yeah. 4 players with light armor, too. Lots.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. 4 players that would die in 1 shot to Magnum.
There's that extra danger. So you can see the decision-making being used here by Karmine Corp. This smoke setup as well just allows them to hide, play not quite an anti-flash position, but at least hiding from the initial haunt. There is a call from Sentinels to refight when the orb is tapped. Loading up the ult orbs onto Narrate, making sure that Nightfall gets online.
You can see the pings over towards Rubble, pointing out the 3 main positions that somebody like TenZ would be playing if they got him posted up in an aggressive spot. So they're going to go through the motions there, making sure that they clear all of these angles. There is nobody home whatsoever on A.
It's a weird one. Look at this. I mean, back and forth as the call's going for Karmine Corp. Looks like there's a lot of uncertainty.
I mean, Sen are basically just playing rotate through spawn right now. They're not trying to, you know, anticipate this so much as just rotate.
No way. Don't know what gave that one away. Still, it's a kill. All Sentinels. First kill going their way.
They've anticipated this pivot.
Up. Yep, they're looking for it and expecting it. Out towards B. Smoke still up into heaven. What's the call going to be here? With only 15 seconds left, the chance really to try and fight them aggressively. Haunt broken, Boombot now, 11 seconds plan. Finally going down, but what is the fight? Yeah, right through. Sees, no connection. Second! Oh! The hopes and dreams torn away in this round. Shin wrapped and caught. Cheeky flank timing.
Destroyed.
Not getting away with that.
That was a really bizarre round, though. Sen were rotating through spawn, off noise cues, off reads, and just trying to stack the correct position where KC would end. They're not worried about leaving holes because they're just trying to be hypermobile around the map. That can really bite you. If you're planning to play defense like that, sometimes if the attacking team just cuts noise, you're just running around having no idea where things are going to end. But the reads there from Sen were perfect. They got the right call on where KC were going every time.
Let's go, boys. Good job.
No damage on that bonus.
Yep, really good job, boys.
No damage, but a healthy buy on either side. Vibes Merchant making sure everything is in order. Here we go, TP forwards, dash it across here, sees, nade, everything being combined. Shin surely goes down, he gets a kill on second.
How's that happened?
How has he managed that?
He was caught dead to rights inside the C's nade.
To almost single digits, evacuation called. TenZ backs away. So listen, call up the cartographer. Power lines being redrawn, but giving up space entirely of Rubble, not even posting a player up deep onto A. Karmine Corp giving it up.
Certainly very willing to rotate around the map themselves on the attack side. And Sen now a bit frozen in place, expecting this to be an A re-hit. Even when Sassy doesn't really spot anything over towards Rubble. Zelsis has all the utility here, but he is just one man.
He's caught here still with the Odin. It's a very big gun and a lot of targets to really choose. And beam down, spotted. Beam in, he does! But the noise into the back, he had no clue about it. Snake bite. Everything being utilized on top of it. Ruins his day there, but still getting to the position he was in. Pretty miraculous. He's made it an even job for Sentinels on this retake. 4 position of Magnum. He's hoping for an easy kill, maybe even a cheap one. One-way smoke, has to force out that paranoia early, so Magnum, he's done his job. Pulling out that util early, now backs away with the rest of his team so he can play side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Sentinels. This is Karmine Corp, comes down to the fundamentals, comes down to the aim, the battle being won! The Sentinels in charge of it all!
A 3v3 post plant where KC, in theory, could have planted anywhere, could have positioned anywhere, and Sen still got the site so easily. Bundling up the KC post planters into a tiny corner and landing that snakebite onto them after TenZ TP'd in behind the orb. This, amazing that Zelsis gets 2 out of that situation, but it basically just equalized part of the luck that Shin, I think, getting away with it at the start of the round. Yeah. But it's that snakebite combo there with TenZ being able to swing on top of it. It just looks really claustrophobic from KC in the post plant. They kind of gave Sen too much space there to do whatever they wanted. But that is 2 huge rounds in a row from Sen. One to make sure that they didn't take any damage from the bonus round, and the other to knock the economy of KC. If we're talking about Lotus being attack side, being momentum based, well, Sen have just stolen all of the wind out of KC's sails.
Essentially back-to-back gun rounds being won from the retake protocols. Not just that, I mean, they've earned themselves up to some pretty serious ults. Utility and kit looking nice and clean for Sen. They've got a showstopper. Zekin's not having a world-class game, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's sitting at 9 and 12, but he's doing his job and he's doing it well.
Yeah, I feel like though TenZ has been that guy.
Oh yeah.
From map 1 to map 2, TenZ's performance has been amazing. When they need him to get aggressive, like for example in that retake, John Cutie survives on the other side of the map. There's a Viper orb up in the middle of sight. They pop it up. That allows TenZ to only focus on one angle, teleports forward, takes the one fight. Again, fighting off the back of John's utility. Bada bing, bada boom. He can do it all. You need an Omen entry? Call me up. That's TenZ, man. He's looking awesome. He really is.
Fight over C early. Again, same smoke, but it is that weaker Biocom in core.
And you either need a really good set play to be able to push this one across the line, or you're looking to try and, do damage to the economy and draw out ultimates. Certainly B is the best site to fight with these more close-range weapons. Magnum's Stinger and Martine's Judge. They haven't cleared Martine.
Oh, way! TenZ! Adjustment of a lifetime. Snappy and precise. A bit later towards the end, but I'll get the job done there. 10-7.
I mean, that was wild. Martine was just stuck in the corner with a Judge there, but he got blinded up, and I don't think he realized that people were pushing through the door on him. Yeah. He probably had a couple freebies, but great adjustment from the Phantom TenZ. They completely neutralized that round. This very reminiscent, actually, of one of the earlier rounds that we saw from KC, where Martine and Narrate pushed out through B, trying to find that timing. And here, Sentinels on defense, being proactive, clearing out that area in the mid-round and catching KC before they could set up.
Kamiko aiming to win that fight out, but they don't actually have anything planned for the Hornets. Potential mistake there. Lots of pings to a variety of players. Kamiko, though, not dissuaded. Now with a Nightfall. It's going to scatter, flow forwards here. Zeltz is getting tagged. Same with John QT. They're not going to know how close these players potentially are with the alarm bot being broken. Sees into the back of the site. They really don't have a clue. Zeltz is spraying away and praying. Just hoping that the reinforcements arrive, but he backs himself into a deeper position, tucked to the back, still danger, vulnerable, no way in hell. Second showstopper, but there's players right behind him, they don't have a clue! Shut down, close to the corner, is shittily surviving, keeping his team alive in this round. It could go in any direction.
And Narrate is still struggling to get the plant down.
Some of these fights, the way it goes, I mean, flip a corner, a better chance of guessing. Still, up onto the ropes, that's Shin. Forwards. Do Sen expect it? Do Sen expect it? Do they expect it? They do not, John. Brought down. Angles watched. Forwards now. Sassy keen to take the fight, keen to trade it out. Through the box though. Couple of straight bullets and Sassy's dropped down. Everybody watching, and eventually the adjustments are there.
Well, that one was dangerous for Karmine Corp, but they come out on top. Magnum's position in pit ended up being so important. But there were moments all throughout that round where things could have flipped in either direction. So much of it coming down to timings that they find on one another. This, for example, not even a half clear from Zekin in that corner. Too many positions to try to guess at. Great aim from Magnum there. Big readjustment. Pulls KC back within 2. And they can start here to work some of their ults and start to build a bit of an economic cushion.
Be the win con. One away, Martine builds it up. Now has the rocket. Prowler, Boombot. First wave of util to dissuade it with the nanoswarms, both of them being deaded, and Celsius putting the Odin to good work. Look at that, spraying through into the angle. Timing. Both double swinging through, but they're vulnerable up now. The nade goes flying forwards. A connection. Celsius couldn't withstand it. Now with the lockdown as well, you have to respect it. Sassy's overstaying his welcome, praying that somebody would open himself up into that sight line.
The plant for Mount this time, instead of the more claustrophobic one on site, allows KC to play 2 layers of this, and they still have Martin's Showstopper to work with.
Surely they win it.
Well,
looks incredibly favoured. At least with the ults. Haunt. What's the back? Sentinels are already in. Showstopper. No one to break it. Couldn't let loose with the Prowler defuse burning away. Into it, it's a gamble. John QT. He finds it, still 4 versus 4. What other util do they really have? They've got to play it side by side. Time working against them. Paranoia, Tens waiting for the timing. He flips the switch and now moves forward for So do Common Core. So do Common Core in complete control of the front section of the site, and a decision is made for him. John QT hightailing it out of there.
Well played by KC, adapting to what Tens was trying to go for. Sentinels, you could see, were expecting KC to have already fallen back to Mound. They thought that they had the site roughly for free as soon as Martin got picked off after using his Showstopper. That was not the case. Both teams really messing with expectations. And it's Celsius, a headshot through the wall there that actually sets up the nade kill. A little unfortunate. But both of these teams are looking sharp. Mind games on mind games in these retake post-plant situations. But Celsius once more has been left alone over towards C, and KC, like 500 wolves staring towards a snack on the C site.
Just that, I mean, vacuuming up these orbs. Granted and given the C mound area basically every single time. There's no plan in action for Sentinels. They did manage to take rubble over towards 8, so they've got 10s posted.
And we haven't actually seen Tens in this position before. We know that KC have got protocols to clear this out. We just haven't seen the fight actually occur. Now, do they believe that Tens is not on top of rubble because they've seen Zekken?
They're not going to use a volley to clear it. One way.
They do not like what they've seen.
No.
They're happy to return back over to Magnum. He knows that there hasn't been any re-aggression on C.
See, Magnum did not give that one up. Already through forwards. Well, John QT, it's an unorthodox one, just playing close to the pillar here. Now sets down a Viper's Pit. This is a difficult one. Carmen Court, what chances do they have? What is the call to be made out forwards in front of it? Lucky to be alive. Still smokes on smokes. Who knows which direction this one's going to go into with a Nightfall now. They don't know anything. Adjusting Magnum! That is disgusting. But Tens, he's forwards and through, eventually removing that pesky problem that is the IGL. 2 players, forwards to the right, has fallen. Shin, last alive, John QT, miraculous with the movement.
And Sen somehow get that one through, despite the fact that Magnum was able to pick off 3.
Way.
It looked great for Sen though. That opening kill from John QT to be able to get his pit online. I'm amazed, frankly, that KC even got the spike down, because there was so much pressure coming through there. Pit used, Nightfall used as well. That is excellent awareness. They've often been using Tomashi's smoke to be able to get into the C site, and John QT just reads that for the first kill. And a little whiffy towards the end from Narrate and Shin. Otherwise, Magnum had given them an opportunity. Devastation for Zeish. 2 rounds ahead again. Maintaining the lead are Sentinels.
Yusha making a difference in so many of these moments. Acro game being called from either of these sides. It's a good one. Both the IGLs going to be working overtime to try and get that edge.
Into C again.
Celsius. Really deep off Vanguard. There was a chance he could have been punished, but safety for now at least. But the snakebite fades. And here's the second go of things. Prowler, Satchels, up above, doesn't expect it. Stinger, exactly where it's favored. Close quarter combat. They don't have the sight just yet. They know where John QT is. John needs some help. John needs some help here. Swinging wide. Sassy will be punished for it. Casualty. Line of fire and a line of action here. It is a bit futile is what it feels like. Carmen Core only just getting ground underneath them. Plans, Paranoia, that forces it out, and a satchel forward, smoke fading away. Martin! Oh, he's on one right now, on for the ace. One more. We'll do it. John QT.
Spotted.
1v3. Spotted and shut down.
That's a wild situation.
I mean, Sentinels realize that Tomashi is one away from being able to get his pit online, so they can't just allow him to go for the plant. They're forced to go aggressive. This entry, excellent from Martin, and wasn't really expected in this spot. But yeah, they're forced to go for this level of aggression and run into Martin's Odin here because they need to deny the plant, otherwise they're going to be retaking into a pit. Unfortunately, they lose the round anyway, and now Tomashi has pit up for the next, and Sentinel's economy is getting stretched. I mean, look at this. Tens is at the top of the scoreboard, and a man's about to come into this round. Sheriff.
Sheriff and half armor. Guardians. I mean, a few rifles, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's...
I'm going to need someone to drop him a gun.
At least.
I mean, I know that he can get work done with the Sheriff, but you want to put your players that are in the aggressive positions in the best position possible. And here we see Sentinel's coaching staff taking the timeout, because this is crunch time. They have a chance here of being able to close out the series against the #1 seed from EMEA. Book their spot into playoffs, set themselves up, potentially as tournament favorites if they make it through Heretics and KC playing like this. Other teams will certainly be having words about that. But there would be little to doubt if they could close things out here.
Most people ahead of this tournament, Carmen Core Sentinels, penned in as most likely finalists, really. The two teams that look the strongest coming into this event.
Been a banger of a game so far.
Yeah, so back and forth.
But I think you kind of have to favor KC's chances of being able to pull this round across the line. Now, C's nade combo, very possible here.
Not using it. Horn though, again, nothing to deal with that one. Not sure what that lineup is, but
it's a different lineup actually. Sassy was throwing it previously from B, now throwing it from A. Still not getting broken.
I'm perfectly happy to follow that trail of noise. They've stacked it with a lot of their players. Prowler forwards, Martin, Satchel in to clear that space and take up control of Tree. With them breaking the Prowler, really does feel like an A hit, and it might still be so. Sees nade. Wrong timing taken for it. Guess what? They want to go forwards. Second. That's a snake bite that takes him down.
There's so many layers to that.
It really is. First wave of util, second with the Paranoia and with the Satchel. That has really put Sentinels in the driving seat.
But Magnum broke the alarm bot on B. No response from anybody there, so he's calling to narrate that B may be clear. Is Tomashi going to try to fake this with a pit or something? What are KC cooking? They had a free B site to go for, and they're still going A.
Coming in, Ten just walks forwards for the information. He's brought down 3 versus 3 still. 2 players at the back of the site. What is it called? Double face! And straight through and down. Equal parts on either side here. 1 left standing. It's Narrate. And a 1v3 to avoid his team being put on map point, on series point.
He's worried about Zelsis, but Zelsis is still tethered to his turret. 15 seconds less, 10. Just no chance, surely.
Anything tap sits, hoping that a few of these players will be out wide and open! Unbelievable! This time! Unbelievable! Milliseconds available!
Zelsis is miles away. The Nightfall going to confirm that he's not playing towards Rubble.
Narrate, 9 bullets! Ridiculous!
That is one of the most important clutches that we've seen in the tournament so far. Narrate somehow saving his team. How does he line this one up? Unreal.
Get out of here. I mean, what was that? 0.3 on the timer or what? I don't even know.
Everything stacked against him.
No way. I mean, barely containing the edge, just like, okay, I'll be the stoic one.
Somehow, Eng expects that, apparently.
Yeah, not shocked.
None of us did.
God damn.
Magnum is buying an Outlaw here to get his team up to map point, knowing that Sentinels are on an eco.
What's the save?
And the ults are all in favor of KC, really. There are still ults over on the side of Sen too. Do they choose to use them?
They're hard stacking. There's 5 players. I don't know what gives this read away. It just seems to be a gamble. Zelsis forwards.
Tens is set up for a Paranoia. Are they going to try to clear this?
Yes, they're going to be trying to fight this one. Paranoia, forwards.
Haunt,
broken. Tags it in the smoke, forward. Sancho's backwards, a boundless second. He let the rocket loose. And Sentinels, no way. in the jaws of defeat. They're trying to take it back. Magnum has taken so much damage in the mix of things. 3 HP. Spike retrieved. Back and away, not quite. It's dropped down, and Sentinels out of nowhere. You're joking.
That is utterly ridiculous. The 5-player gamble stack just at the perfect time. And not just that, but finding the play off the horn being broken. I mean, look at the way the Martine is playing that. They find the exact moment that KC were about to commit. All of them with utility in their hands, ready to exec. And Sen, the aggression pays off big time. They could not have found a bigger moment to slam the pressure back into KC. We're into this, the final round of regulation. It's already here. Shambolic buy for KC.
It's bottom of the barrel. It's all they're working with. It's desperation. Individuals need to step up to even stand a chance of staying in this series.
Emotional roller coaster doesn't even begin for the players there on stage. You go from elation to devastation.
Backing away from TenZ there. Prowler connected. Gives them that space freely. Carmen Cordo, Spike in a different direction. Now Shin does have his ult. There's a chance he can pivot.
Martine has the showstopper, but he took 124 at the beginning of the round. He took a long-range phantom headshot.
Fake. Lockdown being used here to just try and make it feel like this. I mean, it's a good call. Sentinels have been playing super reactive off of the time cues, but the lockdown's broken just from the minor amount of util. Now the showstopper. Forwards Martine. He'll go down to the turret. He'll go down to the turret. He has to send it flying. Poor Timmy. Lockdown. Drop down. 30 seconds. Spike can't be planted. There's desperation. It's frantic in nature, but eventually going to be sticking it. Shin backing away. Pit will stay up, and this retake is happening at a blistering pace. Forwards. Zelsis. Dominating the angles, one tap to force out the util, but this could be it. All on the line for Carmen Core, and the calls are being made here, fighting up close, fighting forwards, all tucked away, Zelsis! The hopes and dreams ripped to pieces, Shin, desperate for it, TenZ forwards, and it can't come down to anything, Thomas Z, no chance, Sentinels have done it! The #1 seed taken out, Sen City here to play.
Oh, this might have been a 2-0. This match delivered. Those final moments are just bonkers. Sen being able to take this map with a 5-player gamble stack over towards C that takes the win. It looked poised, it looked ready. It looked like it was going to bind. But the final map denied us. As Sen denies KC their spot in playoffs for now. This team still with options of being able to make it through our Swiss stage. But the path for them continues. #1 seed of Americas. Taking out the win against the winners of EMEA kickoff. And what a game it was.
Oh yeah.
Sen, definitely the better team there on split, but a hair's breadth between them on Lotus.
I mean, the smallest of differences. I was convinced we were going to be seeing bind. I was convinced it looked like it was preordained, man. But it's Sentinels moving forwards in the playoffs. They'll be happy for it, I'm telling you. Kaplan and Drew been gaining grey hairs at a rapid pace. They haven't had a break, man. They haven't had a break, but finally, a bit of peace and quiet, time to prepare. Sentinels are first team in the playoffs.
And you've got to be thinking, they're looking like one of the favorites to be able to take the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because chewing through, and listen, they had some close maps, some close games, but chewing through both of those EMEA teams who are looking so hot in their regional matches, Sen are looking excellent here. And with all of that time to be able to prep, certainly they're going to be looking at all of the other teams, seeing like who looks dangerous. as they head forwards to playoffs.
Potentially even more dangerous as well. I mean, of course, can't out Carmine Core. They're not out of the tournament just yet. There's the Swiss stage. Listen, they're going to get that chance of redemption, that chance of playoffs.
But against
still.
who?
Against who? Against who? I mean, there's too many unknowns, man. There's too many unknowns and too many other good teams. I mean, we're barely any way into this tournament, and we're just seeing such a high quality of play. It's just insane. It's insanity.
It really is. It's also just incredible individual ability being brought to the big stage by these Sen players. They've worked so hard to increase that fundamental stuff. The retakes, the discipline, the coordination between the team, the IGLing that John Cudy's brought in. But throughout it all, the backbone that's standing up and winning them games here against teams like Heretics and KC, who are no slouches individually. One of the big things that's powering through are those individual performances coming out from players like Tens. You know, Zekken on map 1 as well was just unbelievable. And John up towards the top of the scoreboard here for the second map too, whilst also calling an amazing game too.
Yeah, the battle of the IGLs was something to behold, honestly, as well. Those macro calls. I mean, just the gamble in that second to last round.
How'd they get the read?
Making a difference.
How'd they get the read?
You're joking.
It couldn't have been better. The timing too. The timing on the horn, the break, the paranoia, the run into the smoke. I mean, these are what dreams are made of for Sentinels, but also KC, that is going to be going through your head over and over. Very difficult, actually, to get those kind of moments away from you.
Yeah, I'm taking a gander, trying to see if the interview's ready right now. Will be, I hope so.
Yeah.
At some point, and yes, it is. I've got the cue. Go straight to the interview.
What's up, everybody? Let's give it up for Sentinels one more time! Yes! I'm here joined by QT, and we're going to have a little bit of we want to hear the feelings after this matchup. Estoy aquí con John QT, vamos a hacerle unas cuantas preguntas sobre este partido. First of all, after failing to win a